Oh, hello! And of course, I'm being tortured in the background. Welcome to Tales of Exandria, the last Tavern of Theories for this series, aka Downfall. We're talking about Critical Role's series that just aired in July. And I am joined again by Sasha and Patch. Welcome, welcome. Introductions.
Hello there.
Easiest. I'll hand over to you guys, and we're doing rollies again because it's so fun seeing people run for their dice.
God damn it.
I'm so sorry. It is hilarious.
Dice out. Hold on.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
You're telling me
I should
to roll dice on a TTRPG related stream?
All right. It's my favorite part.
Wait,
I got a nat 20.
same! I'm taking a picture of this!
I saw your
All right,
face. I was
let's
like,
go.
no way, he also got it. No way.
I feel like that's God status, which is great. So one says a word, the other one continues, and we continue that for 2 hours till we have the introduction. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Oh, God.
One more roll, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
God.
gonna be the king.
That one to balance it out.
Definitely not a nat 20.
No. I got a 7.
I got a 5.
Ooh. The
All right,
scales
Sasha.
have tipped the other way. All right.
There you go.
Hello, everyone. I just hit my hand on my mic. I'm so sorry. This is so
You're fine.
chaotic. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Sasha. You can find me online at The Weird Lobster on most platforms except on TikTok, where I'm at The Rambling Lobster because usernames are fun. And I'm excited for tonight. This last episode of Downfall was epic. I have so much feelings about it, and I will be screaming. There you go.
As for me, I am Brennan Lee Mulligan. You can find me on all socials. No, that's not entirely true. I guess you could call me the Lord of Lies. Wait, no. Hi, I'm Patch, the Everhumble DM. You might know me from a little place called Quest Junkies, where I torture these two on a weekly basis through the medium of actual play content. And yes, Downfall was amazing. 3-part multitude story of chaos and drama and tears and screams and oh my gods and cameos, and we're going to get into all of that very shortly.
Yes, we are. And as always, I don't have music running, so we'll change that in a second when you guys are actually talking. But we'll dive into it. We're just doing the usual stuff like, hey, we had a little bet running and we have bingo and stuff like that. And then we do dive into the actual episode. So first up, we talked about how long will this episode be? And we actually had bets. We had Sasha with 4 hours, 45 minutes, Patch with 6 hours, and Sarah with 5 hours, 15. But to be fair, we were all basing it on the rebroadcast too. So we did all expect it kind of to go longer and hoping for it. But I think Patch won this one, correct?
I mean,
Yeah.
you made a really good point about the rebroadcast, and I was like, nope, 6 hours, I will die on this hill.
I will say it, I got fucked by it because even on the day they did not announce that they were pushing back the broadcast. You won this one, and I got fucked.
Nice. Okay, we could talk about the food part. Our god in the background, that's photo number 2. If you could show that real quick. So we were curious because the announcement part, when Matt and Brennan actually announced the whole show and stuff like that, Brennan was eating a burger. And the next time he was eating something else. And it just kept going. It was like a running gag theme kind of thing. And now we know what actually happened. It's the second video, it says food. Anyway, so we actually bet on it because... Okay, never mind. We know now what happened. They recorded the announcement directly after the episode, and Brennan was actually eating a burger. So we all kind of lost. We didn't win because we all said something else because that wasn't in our head.
Can you remind us what the bets are? Because
Yeah, I think Patch has to invite us to something, ice cream or something, or a drink.
No,
I don't
no,
know.
no. I mean, the food part, the snacks.
Oh, you
bet.
said
What
you
did we
said
bet?
you said ramen, and Patch said almonds, and I said burrito because I said something savory, and we already had pizza, burger, and whatever out of the. Yeah, so
The one that okay, so they did not only eat burgers that day, because they made a reference to it early in the episode that they also were snacking on cake. So that's why I was wondering, did anybody bet cake or something?
we did talk about cake, and
Yeah.
Nick also showed cake
Yeah,
on his
yeah.
I think Instagram. There was a story or something. They had cake. I think it was red velvet. Anyway.
I'm hungry now. Great.
Yeah, dude, I was watching the whole episode, and after the break, I was like, I want a burger. God damn it, Brennan. So for the rest of the episode, I was like, I need a burger. So yeah, that was that part. Okay. Yes, we got all that. So, but we did not only get the episode, we did not only get the cooldown, we actually also got a four-sided dive. There we go. Someone actually posted it, and I was like, wait, I know that shirt. And there was a moment when I also realized, hey, they recorded that directly after. And Brennan looked so like done, exhausted after the episode. I was like,
I mean, we have to give it to him. He had just run a 6-hour-long D&D campaign,
yeah.
most of which was like the most intense epic fight of all time, where he was controlling like 19 different people and beasts and creatures and shit. Like, he deserves a nap.
Oh yeah. For sure. Also, imagine playing a level 20 character, and this is like all level 20, all gods, and then you have the monsters on the other side. We're not actually having monsters there. Anyway, so the first comment, I think it was from Patch in the channel, was, the vibe in the room right now is extreme prejudice.
Yep.
Instantly became one of my favorite quotes. So appropriate. I need to steal that for something. It's amazing.
Do it, for sure. So how did you guys feel watching it? I mean, long episodes for me normally take like the whole day because I do take breaks, so I have to work or do something. Did you guys watch it in one go? How did you feel watching it?
Go ahead.
I watched it in one go because I couldn't stop watching. Like, my plan was to wait until the break and then take a break and then come back to it. But we got to the break and I was like, okay, I'll watch the first round. And then the first round went on for quite some time. And by that point, I didn't care. I was like, I need to see.
I'm full
gotta
in.
keep watching.
We're not stopping, yeah. I mean, for me, I definitely did not watch it in one go because I started watching like live, which for me starts at 10 p.m., which is not as late as you guys, but it's still pretty late for someone who has to get up at 7 in the morning to go to work. So I started watching, and then they called the break at like almost midnight for me.
It was really early though. The break.
It was an early break, but like it was like at 1 hour 45, 1 hour, like it was almost midnight. And so I was like, oh, I know they're gonna start, like, because after the, like, as we were getting to the break, everybody was getting like spells ready. It's like, we are going into combat. And I was like, okay, we are going into a 4-hour-long combat after the break. I cannot. I know I'm not gonna be able to stay the whole time. Because it would be like 4 a.m. by that point. I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed. And I was pretty stumped because I work full days work. So at 10 p.m. I'm asleep on the couch most days. So like I was already like struggling. Like I was very excited. So like it was helping me stay awake for the first 2 hours. But then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed and watch it later. And I ended up watching the second half, I think in 2 parts, because I usually watch at work, where I'm like, I have the stream on my other monitor as I'm working and doing other stuff. But like, I have a lot of meetings and I have a lot of stuff to do, and sometimes I just need to focus very intensely on my work, and I can't have like a D&D stream where I'm taking notes and tracking spells and doing all the crazy shit that I do when I watch Critical Role. So I watched the second half in 2 chunks, but like I don't remember where I stopped. I think I stopped after the first round the first time, and I came back and I was like, I was blowing your guys' DMs because I was so excited about what was going on. Because Jesus Christ, that fight was the most exciting fight that I've ever watched. Ever, I think. It was just so hyped, and the whole thing with the wards and then everybody becoming overpowered gods, it was just so fun. And I kept DMing you guys like, put me in, coach. I want to play on this. I want to play. Put me in. I want to play. This is so fun.
At that point, I was like, oh my god, you haven't hit the twists yet, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. I was just sitting there waiting for you to catch up, and I'm like, literally sitting.
Yeah. I was excited about like what now in hindsight is almost basic for that fight. Like I was like, oh my god, he casted a cool spell. This is so cool. And you guys were like, yeah, just wait. It's gonna get cooler.
It's like you're not prepared for this.
It just kept getting more exciting and cooler, and it was genuinely. I had so much fun watching that fight. And genuinely, honestly, sometimes I'm not always the most excited about watching fights, like watching combats. Sometimes I'll fast forward and like skip through a little bit because like sometimes combat can take a long time. It's like, okay, you're basically describing to me that you're like playing a combat is always fun and I love it, but watching combat sometimes I personally don't enjoy it as much. I prefer the roleplay. But for this, I was all in. I was like, oh fuck, I am locked the fuck in. I'm watching the shit. Like, it was great.
So the crazy part is normally when you play a one shot, you know, like, hey, party meets and then whatever, fight or heist or whatever is coming. Technically, this was a heist. You need to do this, to do this, to do this. But it didn't feel like that. I mean, also it was 3 episodes and we have a lot of lore and we know the world, but the 3 of the players haven't played in Critical Role, so it's different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hey Pat, would you take on a level 20 god fight as a DM? It is a lot to track.
So, funny thing about that, I had a mini campaign on the back burner that is level 20. I pitched it to a few people a while ago, and we've parked it for now because everyone's schedule is so busy. We do also have a thing for question keys coming towards the end of this year that might be, I don't know if it'll be level 20, but it'll be very, very similar vibe to Downfall, despite the fact that we planned this before Downfall was announced. So, you know, God damn it.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think it would be daunting. I'd love to try it. I'd probably fail miserably, but what a fun way to fail.
I would love to fuck your shit up, Patch, in the most loving way possible. Like,
you can certainly try.
So that was a little recap from him at the beginning, like, hey, the Celestial died in the Speakeasy. You guys removed the Obtenebrator engine. I hope I said that correctly. So the gods could actually look inside, and then they also removed the Aerobox protocol. Yes. Which would have spread the knowledge of the weapon. So they technically were good. The only thing that was still open was the Latimus Princip that was inbuilt into the weapon. So that's where they were heading to. The fun part also was like, despite them destroying all the wardens and whatever around it, Asmodeus could have still like killed everyone. So that whole twist, we need to talk about this, but with Cassida, but we could talk about this later. I don't know. So
I mean, we might as well talk about it now. I don't think there's any point of just being like,
I know,
let's
I
talk-
know.
I think we can just talk about it now.
Yeah, it's I mean, there was a whole interrogation of Cassida at the beginning, which we might have to talk about beforehand, where some of the gods are like, hey, she's just a model, whatever. But she was also the key to all the information, like of kind of the quest giver to them. So there was a lot going on, and the back and forth. I know Brennan kept talking about like, yeah, first you tell her not to that she can't comprehend and understand, and then 2 minutes later you come and tell her do understand. But again, emissary is not a god, so that's the only thing where I'm like difference. And I don't know.
I mean, the whole thing with Cassida is so. I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week about her being like, "Oh, but I'm here to help, guys. Like prime deities, I'm here to help. You want to destroy the betrayers? I want to do that as well because I believe in you guys." And like, it's so interesting. And then having her whole. Because that's basically what happened this episode, is her whole belief system was shattered in front of her eyes.
Yeah.
And she, like, at the end, when the Lord of Hells killed Cassida for good, he was like, oh, it was so delicious that she renounced her god in her last moment, which Brennan revealed in the Forzetta Dive was a lie, because she didn't renounce the Everlight in her last moment. She renounced her way before, when her whole view of the world was shattered. It's just yeah.
It's also like, okay, she tells the Everlight the password, but she knows already they are family. It's like, hey, they are working together. You might as well just tell it out loud. There's no point in just telling it to the Everlight. I'm sorry. Also, Brennan revealed that she pretty much knew she wouldn't get out alive. And
no, she didn't know, but...
No, she knew she wouldn't make it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought you was talking about another thing. The other thing about Cassida was that she was part of this like alliance of people that were like all wizards in Aeor, but like believed in the primes. But like, we are so secret, no one knows that we're working for the deities. Brennan revealed that they were fucked either way, because if the gods decided to like be like, oh, it's okay, Cassida, you can come with us. We'll work with you. We'll save you. Aeor was already like on their asses, and they were gonna get murdered the minute the project was complete. So it's yeah.
It's a classic example of the kind of story where nobody truly wins.
No,
that is true. There are a couple of moments like Milo or Asmodeus says, the line exists between those who matter and those who don't. We're on this side of the line together, family, and that's pretty much the end of Cassida in that moment, because for her that's a oh shit, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, she tries to basically beg that they don't destroy Aeor or save the people or whatever, but obviously that's not possible. Either way, they wouldn't have done it regardless. At the end, they didn't have a choice. So but there was a lot like, hey, on level B, there are the banks of scrolls. That's where I go to. We need to kind of get the knowledge away so nobody can copy it, stuff like that. So they just formed teams.
I just had a random thought occur to me, and I might need to look into this, but I wonder if Brennan deliberately tried to portray Cassida as going through the 7 stages of grief in that whole scene. Because there was anger, there was bargaining, like...
Yeah.
I might need to look it up and
at
see.
the end. Yeah.
Exactly. I wonder if that was a specific choice.
I mean, if it wasn't and it's accidental, Brennan is just so genius that like
that is valid.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Brennan had that plot at the back of his hand as he was playing Cassida, of like, she is going through it, like she's grieving her own She's grieving her own life. She's grieving her city, everything she worked towards, like all the time she spent in her life to build this thing. She's grieving her belief system because she's fucking, mind broken kind of thing. Like she's going through it.
Yeah. I mean,
so a quick Google says the 7 stages of grief: shock and denial, pain and guilt, anger and bargaining, depression, the upward turn, reconstruction and working through, acceptance and hope.
Yep,
it's all of that.
She went through all of it.
Minus the hope. The hope's not happening.
I mean, she had a slight glimmer of hope at one point where when the Everlights showed up with Cassida and like the betrayers were there and the Everlight kind of like protected her, like, oh no, she's with me. Like Brennan had this like, oh yeah, that's my God, she's defending me from the but then it quickly just went back to, oh no, she's not doing this for me, she's doing this for herself.
I think it's definitely more acceptance than hope at the end. I think there was no hope left for her to at least get out. Maybe hope for the city, but being alone with the betrayers, that couldn't go well.
No.
So what's surprising to me is the Raven Queen actually tracked her when the Everlight also had a connection. They kind of should have seen it coming somehow, especially the Raven Queen, because she kind of has like a better overview about things developing.
I mean, didn't she? I'm pretty sure when Cassida was introduced in the 2nd episode, like Brennan was just telling Emera, like the Raven Queen, like, oh, you can see her life thread is like, it's she's done for, she's gonna die soon, and you know it. Which we all assumed was because she was gonna be in Aeor when it fell.
Yeah,
but turns out it's just everything was like, there was no way out for her. Even if Aeor survived somehow and we created a new timeline of Exandria where Aeor didn't fall, like Cassida was going to die anyway because Aeor was onto her.
Is that our timeline? Is that how it works? That's the timeline split? You've got Critical Role on one and you've got Quest Junkies on the other.
Maybe.
Like that. I like that.
So we kind of actually went in scenes because I called this like the interrogation of Cassida, and then Umleta shows up and shows like a recording of Selena and Acastiel, and like those two working together, and we see that in the battle too, obviously. I mean, we all know why. You left him alone for too long and you are not playing by your own rules, so... Yeah, Uprising of the Angels. What else was there? Oh yeah, in the meantime, because the Raven Queen had her double outside and stuff like that, she also had her Raven outside. And then when the whole storm kicked up, the description of the outside world with the storm was so cool, and with a wizard who tried to fly away. I'm sorry. That was hard.
It made me laugh because how ridiculous it was, but
it was a full-on 9th level power word. Nope, from the Stormlord.
Hardcore.
For real.
You die through your own weapon, which is just a wand, but it was hard. Yeah,
that's what they call an Aeorian kebab.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
I wonder if that body is still in the ruins somewhere, just impaled by its own weapon. Like
a skeleton by now. He's probably hanging somewhere.
Imagine Matt makes a reference to it tonight of like, oh yeah, you're walking and then you just see this guy just impaled in his own weapon.
We'll push Cassida to later after the fight, but we have the whole theory with the kid and Cassida and whatever. Anyway, so outside world, it was super crazy bullshit going on outside. They really shook the boat, I would say, but it's actually like a city. Yeah, that was also the moment when we heard about the Cognola word in one sentence. They just fucked off. That's about it. I was so disappointed. I don't know what you guys were thinking. I literally thought like, okay, those are the hippie philosophers and they're gone now. That's how they're portrayed now. But I don't know what you guys thought.
It's almost a blink it and you'll miss it moment, because I don't think I caught that sentence the first, like, I saw so many people talking about it and I saw this clip being shared and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, they said that, and I completely forgot about it. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got. And I was like, oh, well, fuck.
One sentence.
I caught it because I was expecting it. I was waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it was perfect.
It was great.
I really do. I really do, because from their perspective, it means nothing.
Yeah.
But to the audience, it means everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, we got nothing about crazy experiments, about weird animals, weird constructions, about like the Cognosa word, anything. We got nothing, so it wouldn't have fit in our story we were watching. So it's just like, goodbye.
It makes sense. It makes total sense. Like, and I think it was perfect just to make a little mention of it, because I think otherwise a lot of people would have been disappointed to like not even know, like, okay, but what about Cognosa? That was so cool to us.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're saving that for a book. Like, it seems like the perfect thing to put into a book and an audiobook, and then get Brennan to do the audiobook, please.
I mean, just having like it sounds really stupid, a day in a life of Aeor, but like a week or something before the whole downfall, just seeing what happened there would be so cool. It would be just...
But there's one thing that I realized as I was watching Downfall and after finishing Downfall, of like, there was so much that we were like, I really want to see this specific tiny little thing. I really want to know everything about this part of the mentioned once. I want to know, like, as a nerd, I want to know all the lore, of course.
Yeah.
But there's also like something fun about not knowing everything. We don't need to know everything about Aeor. We don't need to like do 12 series about how it was going on in Aeor, because at some point it's like, okay, but like there's fun in the mystery, you know?
I know.
And that's something that I realized is like, as we were going through the story, it's like, okay, it's not at all going in the direction that I was expecting, and I'm totally fine with that. And I enjoy the fuck out of the story. And actually, I think it's better that we don't know a lot of the things that we wanted and we were like almost demanding to know about, like all the lore that we were like, oh, we need to know more about that, right? It's like, no, we don't. We don't.
For this story they told, definitely it's perfect how it went. But having a separate like mini series or something would be so cool. Don't have to, but
it would be fun. Cool. I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun, but also I'm enjoying not knowing everything right now and having some mystery, question unanswered kind of deal.
Here's one thing, and he kind of retconned that in Four-Sided Dive. So when Cognosa left, and during the battle there was the 9th level wish, Selena actually wished to the knowledge to all the wizards kind of from Aeor or in Aeor. It's still a part of Aeor. I know it's on a different plane at that moment, but just saying, they would have had the knowledge. And he kind of said no. It was like a short distance thing.
Yeah. They didn't get the wizards in Cognosa don't know shit about the project.
No. Like I said, hippies.
Yeah.
Probably not, but yeah.
Can we talk about that wish for a moment?
Sure.
Because I know there's lots of theories about that, and I know there's lots of discussion about this, and I'm sure everybody in the chat also has a lot of things to think about that. So, was it Selena who did the wish? It was, right?
There were several wishes. Which one are you talking about? The last one with the knowledge? That's Selena.
Yes, the one with the knowledge. So Selena wishing, I had to rewatch it. Like, I couldn't rewatch the entire episode because I ran out of time. I was so busy this week. But I went to rewatch specifically this part because there was so much that I couldn't understand in the moment. And I was like, but what happened here? What the fuck was that? Basically, she wished for every wizard in Aeor to have some tidbit of knowledge, and so further down the line they'd be able to reconstruct.
Yeah.
But then most wizard died. Not all of them, but most of them. Who do you guys think survived with some knowledge? Do you guys have any theories of, is there any wizard out there who survived with that knowledge?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because Brandon specifically also said that the Stormlords sped up like whole Aeor to really push it into the ground so everyone dies.
Yeah. I see my theory in the chat. Terry Elvin brought it up. The boy that was Alice, the boy that was saved by the Raven Queen.
Yeah,
he's the only survivor of Aeor, basically.
Plus the Cognosa people, which are
but the Cognosa people were already gone by the time the wish was cast, so they didn't get the wish. They didn't get
the wish, but they might have known about it. They might have which we don't know. So
they lost their minds. So.
No, the theory is, which was so confusing to me when watching Four-Sided Dive, that they are like, wait, you think that's Ludinus? And I'm like, that's number 1 on your list, is it not? It's like, hey, he would have knowledge. He would have picked up something from his mom. Kids pick up a lot around their parents, even if they're like not seeing them a lot. So.
Yeah.
See, I don't agree with this theory. I think it's too easy. I think Ludinus, his whole deal is still to be revealed.
Probably. I mean, I posted you guys his monologue before they went into Downfall, and it sounds more like as if he's a random kid growing up.
Here's the thing. A lot of people are theorizing whether Alice is Ludinus. I think that theory, there's no way. Because here's the thing. Ludinus is an elf. Alice is a human boy. First of all, there's already a disconnect here. That's not working. Unless he change race with the whatever spell that can allow you to do that. It's not. Alice is not Ludinus, and I'm adamant about that. However, I do think there is a chance that boy had, some form of he was a level 1 wizard because his mom was a wizard and he was picking up things from her, and maybe he got a tidbit of knowledge. Maybe Ludinus knew that boy at one point. Maybe they don't even know each other, but there's a whole other sect of people somewhere descending from that boy that got knowledge from this and are also trying stuff. There's a lot of ways this could go. But I think it's interesting to think that maybe that boy left Aeor with some knowledge, and the gods kind of fucked themselves in the foot and shot themselves in the foot by the Raven Queen by saving that boy, and now several centuries later they have to deal with this whole thing again because they saved one child.
Especially when Laura says it was just a whim to actually save the boy. Well,
yeah, the Raven Queen showing mercy for the first time.
always could have saved him somehow, so he might have always been a key to the next story.
Just quickly glancing through the monologue that you shared with us again.
Yeah.
He doesn't say he was in Aeor.
No, he wasn't.
No, he just said he grew up at the end part of the Calamity, I think.
Yeah. So...
the downfall of Aeor was not at the end of the Calamity. It was several hundreds of years before. So
no, wait. It's the last chapter of the Calamity. It's pretty much the end scene where Brennan describes it when the dawn's coming up. It's the end. It's basically ringing in the end of the Calamity, the last chapter, which is also the last scene. Is beautiful. Anyway, so back to the boy. Theories, please. Keep going.
Yeah, but that's basically what I had about the boys. I don't think I'm pretty sure. It's not even. I don't think it's. I know it's not Ludinus, and I disagree with the theory that it's Ludinus for many different reasons. I just think it might be a cool area to explore. Like maybe this boy maybe he survived with some knowledge. Maybe since he got spared by the gods, he knew of that knowledge and spent his entire life destroying the knowledge and making sure that no one else has it. There's many different ways this boy could have grown up. Maybe he became a champion of the gods. Who knows? But
I think, like, if we're going to do predictions, I think he grows up to become the first, for many, many years, the first new cleric of the Everlight. Because it's the Everlight that saved him, and he knows that because he witnessed it.
Question: what about her kids? Are they demigods? Would they worship her? Would
They're
they also
demigods.
be a follower of that?
Is that a new thing in Crit Roll? The concept of a demigod?
I don't know.
Pretty
I haven't
sure
seen
it
it
is.
yet. I haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it, so
I'm really intrigued by it.
yeah.
And also, like, because they talked about it briefly in Four-Sided Dive as well, about how there's the bloodline of the Everlight just running around Exandria. Like, please tell me it's the Trickfoots, because come on,
Oh my
come on,
God.
they looked like she looked like Pike.
Yeah.
But they're bitches to her. It's just her. The family were really mean to her.
Well,
it's so
the
cute
gods,
to think.
and
And
the gods are all good.
Yeah.
I want to go and find that bloodline now. I want to know who. Like, I personally don't think it's Pike, because the reason Pike looks like the Everlight is because she was revived, and
True.
like, she was a cleric. She was, that's why she looks. It's more Pike looks like the Everlight than the Everlight looks like Pike, kind of deal. But I want to know which family is it? Where are you guys?
Yeah. I wonder if they actually gather together by, like, there's fate, there's gods. Maybe they still crossed ways, like the boy and the kids from Trist. It could be. Also, we still have Perwan. I mean, he's alive for a good while, just saying. So
Yeah. But another theory about the boy that I had before we move on from him. I know Patch and I have had this discussion many times before, because we are both very passionate about the Cobalt Soul. I am here to suggest, because our theory of Patch and I that we share is that the Cobalt Soul was created from Maya.
Did we get raided? Why do we have 16 people all of a sudden? Sorry. Did I miss something? Also, hi guys. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, Sasha. I was just confused.
There would be a notification in chat if
Yeah, I didn't see anything. I'm sorry,
hello,
guys.
everybody.
You.
But the theory that Patch and I share is that the Cobalt Soul was created from hi Valkyrie, from Maya, who is Sarit's daughter, when she got the orb, Patia's orb, and the Cobalt Soul protects that knowledge from Avalier. Now I'm here to suggest,
I'm there with you guys.
Yeah, you agree. I'm saying Patch and I because we've had this discussion, and it's basically Renee's whole backstory relies on that fact. But what if that boy, having that knowledge, having that hint of wizard, having now, like, having been, like, saved by the gods, and he is on the gods' side, what if he either, like, joined the Cobalt Soul, or, like, became buddies with Maya, and, like, they created the Cobalt Soul together? Or maybe he created the Cobalt Soul and became a cleric of Ioun, and he was like, I have knowledge that is dangerous to the gods. I'm gonna protect it so that no one else has it, and I'm gonna start a whole religion around this, and, like, a whole, like,
I feel like
not religion,
the
but, like,
opposite.
He could have grown up and joined the Cerberus Assembly.
Yeah. Or, I mean, he was really sick. His mom got killed. The city he was on got destroyed. He got sent away from death, like, literally. I would feel more of the opposite. Like, I'm mad about the gods. I don't care which direction you're going, good or bad. You guys fucked over the place I know, the people I love. There's nothing left. I'm somewhere, and they're fighting down there right now. They're devils, they're demons, they're good people, they're normal people. I don't know. Shit's going down right now. I don't know what happens to the kid.
Yeah, I agree. Again, there's many different ways this boy could grow up to be, and I personally think it's very in a way that's very impactful to the future of Exandria. I want to know what you guys think about it. Like, what are your theories? You know,
I'm really curious. I want to have a connection. I hate it. I mean. Taliesin was like, I need to have more drama, kind of. He likes when things are not easily connected. So he was like, there needs to be more to this. It doesn't, direct connection. On the other hand, my brain needs some sorting. I need some connection somehow. However, so I was thinking, Cassida, they, after, she died. I mean, they kind of restored her body, but they didn't bring her back, which we can talk about in a second. But the other thing is they put her under a dome to protect her body during the impact. So technically, she could be still in Aeor under that bubble. We don't know how long it lasts.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's way too long for even true resurrection, because I was looking it up how many years that is. I think up to 200, so that wouldn't work. And to speak with dead, 5 questions, I think, doesn't really answer any questions too specifically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, speak with dead doesn't have a limit, but because you can technically dig up a dinosaur skeleton from millions of years ago and speak with dead on it and talk to it if it knows language, you know? But
no, it's
like you said,
it's
like 5 questions is not a lot. But like, I'm wondering, did someone that worked with Ludinus speak with dead with Cassida, or like did Ludinus have, because how does he know all this stuff about Aeor and like where to find the stuff and like where, like, he found the recording, but how did he find it? Like, there's been so many people before him exploring the Aeor. How, you know, what if he talked to someone that was really important, you know?
So, I just had an idea. Just to throw this out there. So, speak with dead doesn't work. Time limit. True resurrection doesn't work. Time limit.
Raise dead either.
You know what could work though for gaining that knowledge? There's a 5th level divination spell by the name of Legend Lore.
Yes.
I love Legend Lore. It's one of my favorite spells.
Legend Lore is awesome.
You're right.
I reckon that would do the job. Because it's dealing with information that is lost to time and considered legendary. How to kill a god? I think that counts.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's like, hey, Google.
A little bit.
Hey, Siri, where can I find this lost legendary recording of brain stuff, time, space?
Also, who's Google and who's Siri? Hey, Alexa. Sorry. We don't want to discriminate anyone.
Yeah.
Legend Lore is great. So I never was able to use it because I think it costs a lot, right?
It does come with, I think I can't remember what the materials are.
Is it not diamond dust?
Yeah,
or something.
I was playing a cleric, I wanted to use it, and my DM was like, oh, you don't have diamond dust. Nope, not gonna happen. or money. He literally kept us on like 50 gold or something, so I had no chance to cast anything as a cleric. It was so stupid. Anyway, so what is your thought? Do you think what does Ludinus want? What do you guys think?
Because the thing that I need to go back and rewatch stuff to clarify is, has Ludinus already seen this? Because I've seen conflicting reports from people saying that he's already seen this, he wants to show Bell's Hells, or he hasn't seen it yet and he's witnessing it for the first time with them. Because I think that question will change a lot of theories.
What I read was he saw parts of it, but not the whole thing yet. So he had
that's what I think
much
as well.
a vibe. of what's
he
gonna
knows
be shown.
he knows what is in the recording. He knows it's like the gods coming to Aeor to strike it down, and like maybe a little bit more. But he doesn't. He
lacks the context.
He doesn't have the whole story. He knows like maybe he was going through the archive of like all those things, and it's like they're all labeled of like, oh, this is the moment that the gods destroyed Aeor. This is that kind of deal of like the general what's happening, like the plots. Like if you want to go watch a movie and you know like the plot, like the little plot summary, but you don't know the whole thing.
It might really be the case that he just wants to show them the whole family thing. So they're not good, bad, whatever, and they will always stick together no matter. And humankind doesn't have a chance or whatever. Life on Exandria. Also, they talked about that in the Four-Sided Dive, that they didn't see the beginning with the lights and so on, where they actually kind of became... Wait, I wrote that down somewhere. Anyway, of course not, because that's not recorded in Aeor. I was like, that's pretty illogical. I'm a bit confused, but yeah, I don't know.
I mean, we're going to find out tonight, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
Like, originally, when we planned this this Tavern of Theories on a Thursday, it's like, oh, it's gonna be last Thursday of the month. There's not gonna be a Critical Role episode. It's gonna be fine. But no, we were wrong. There's a Critical Role episode tonight. And I'm excited. I'm really excited. Because that's the one thing that I had at the back of my mind throughout watching the whole downfall is like, how is Hell's going to react to all this information?
Oh yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? It's like...
I think the first reaction will be Chetney going, "Man, I could have told you all that. Shit, I was there."
Something like that.
I mean, I think it's going to depend on... Like, of course, it's going to depend on the person. But, for example, if you take someone like Fern or maybe even Orym, I don't think... Like, Orym, I see... I don't know, actually. I had a thought, and then it just didn't make sense, and it's like... Because part of me is like, it's going to depend on which gods they feel closest to, and how that god behaved during this recording.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For example, like, the Wild Mother, which someone like Orym would probably feel closest to. Mm-hmm. Like, she was pretty neutral, I think. Well, she wasn't neutral, but she was like...
Feral.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, we'll just destroy because, But she didn't do anything particularly evil-ish.
The thing
Apart
what Taliesin said is... that character literally is on the edge, because the Wild Mother might as well be on the other side. So also that embrace with which one? Tanat?
Shar, I think.
Shar, yeah. At the end, it's pretty much... I also wasn't sure, because we had the betrayers there. They were holding back, but he actually was, or them, I don't know the pronouns for that one, was actually in the fight and got injured, Some of them didn't do shit, but he was actually fighting. So, don't know. Is he also on the edge? Because I had him on the betrayer side the whole time, but he actually was helping them, kind of. You know what I mean? Or was it more distracting?
The thing is, so for the betrayer gods, the Lord of the Hells obviously wasn't really helping. We found out later why, but as soon as Aeor was dealt with, he was gonna turn the weapon on the primes and win the calamity. Like, it was like, oh, I'm helping, but I'm gonna turn the weapon on you the second like we've dealt with these dumbasses, which ultimately failed. But other gods like Umleta, who was the Spider Queen, and Tashar were more, at least in my perception of it, were more like no, we're actually teamed up with our brothers and sisters, and like we're here to team up. We're not here to
They were
backstab them the second it's over, you know?
he literally told them like, let's go, let's destroy them, and they were standing there with him. Tashar was the only one, not Tashar. God, the other one. I can't pronounce his name. He was there with them, so the other ones buggered off. It's like Lord of the Hells was the first one who went. You know what I mean? And then the others gone, but he stayed. You know, so I don't know what the connection there is. Need to look into it. Yeah, so here my question. Father Milo. What happened?
I mean,
Tell
we
me.
got all the lore of what happened. Like, what the fuck was Father Milo in the Four-Sided Dive?
I'm still confused because I'm like, okay, on one hand, it seemed like they switched a route at the hospital, at least what was said. On the other hand, I understood he was not there the whole time.
Brennan actually answered that question in the Four-Sided Dive.
That's why I'm asking, because in the episode, it was different than Four-Sided Dive, so.
Yeah, but because Danny asked the same question in Four-Sided Dive, because she was like, oh, I thought it was in the hospital that they switched. But Brennan said that the Lord of the Hells was always Arcadia. As soon as we met Arcadia, it was already the Lord of the Hells. He had already captured Ioun and put her in the little flask that we saw in the combat. And he was like, Father Milo is like basically a puppet of like, he's controlling Father Milo, but like, he's not Father Milo.
Because that's how I understood Four-Sided Dive, but like I said earlier, I watched the episode, and then he basically said it's like Father Milo and Arcadia were in the room, and only Father Milo came out. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense with what you said at Four-Sided Dive. That would mean they caught her in the hospital, but the whole time when Arcadia was basically talking, you had Father Milo on one side, like, hey, we need to speed up shit. And then Arcadia on the other side, are you sure we want to destroy like the whole knowledge? Which makes sense because he wanted to use the weapon to destroy the other ones. So still a bit confused, but
I think what happened in the hospital that confused just about everyone, because I was also confused. You're confused. Danny Carr was confused. So like, you know it's confusing if Danny Carr's confused.
There is a famous quote. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was making you believe he didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think the second greatest trick he ever pulled was making you think he was this person in the room when he was actually over here, and he'd been here the whole time.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. It's like, I think what happened in the hospital was set up as a way to purposefully confuse, like, and make everyone think, like, make the characters think, oh, the switch happened at the hospital. Okay. But in hindsight, it's like, no, it didn't happen at the hospital. That's what the Lord of Hells wanted you to believe, that the switch happened at the hospital.
So, okay, we were on the right track when we said, like, Father Milo is way too old. So, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. My question is, if he was Arcadia the whole time, did they caught Ioun, like, outside of Aeor? Was he born as Arcadia? Did he possess?
No, okay, so Ioun was born as Arcadia.
Okay, so
she lived in Aeor as Arcadia. Brennan explained that the morning before the gods showed up, Asmodeus showed up, maybe as Father Milo or something, and he kidnapped Ioun and took her likeness. He took the body basically and put Ioun in the little flask.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah. I don't know what
that's settled.
I honestly, it's an interesting question. Where was the Lord of Hells this whole time?
I don't
Was
know.
he
Just
here
having
the whole
fun. He wasn't there the whole time. I think he was having fun outside. But how
Yeah.
did he get on board of Aeor? Different
Yeah,
human?
that's it's like, how did he also have another life that he discarded that morning and that we don't know of? Did he just like, I don't know, how did he get into Aeor? You know?
Questions over questions. I mean, at the beginning, you're like, okay, it's the betrayers. He's going to throw them over regardless, whatever. And then nothing happened. He's just shifty and toying with his brother, whatever. Nothing has really happened. So you get into like a phase where you're like, okay, maybe not. Maybe at the end there's something. But he was doing it the whole time, which is great. So that was really well done. I have so many notes. I don't know even where to begin.
Maybe before we go on with your notes, I just read a message in chat, which I think is very interesting, and I want to discuss it. Me Ramesy, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, says it's gonna be really funny if after the recording, Ludinus starts to realize what he was doing is wrong, but it's too late to stop. I don't think at all that's gonna happen. I think Ludinus is gonna double down and be like, see, I was fucking right. The gods are terrible. Let's fucking kill them. Are you with me? What I think would be funny and would be kind of interesting to see is Bell's Hell's reaction to that recording. I can totally see some of them being like, oh fuck, I think Ludinus is right. I think he's doing the right thing here, you know?
Question: the gods are theoretically still behind the divine gate, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real threat or anything. Why do you want to destroy the gods besides being God yourself?
I think it's kind of like a security measure because the gods put up the divine gate. That doesn't mean they can't take it back down. They created it.
Yeah.
You know, they've gone outside and they've locked the door behind them, but they still got the key. They can open that door whenever they want.
He's also fucking old. What does he care?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit what there's something that was so interesting that Brennan mentioned in the Four-Sided Dive of like, technically, officially, Aeor, yes, had a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
With the eventual, like, with the idea of like, we'll protect ourselves, you know, there's a distinction between like, they were going to use it and they just had a weapon in case to protect themselves. Like, that's a big distinction that Brennan makes in the Four-Sided Dive. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the same thing with the gods, is like, there's a difference, but like, you know, the hypothetical of like, yes, there's this thing. Are they gonna keep it up? We don't know. You know, that's how I'm seeing it, at least. Is like, there's always this chance that nothing's gonna happen, and like, and that's Ludinus's way of thinking. Is like, we don't know if the gods are gonna stay in this way, so might as well act now. You know.
No.
I'm gonna throw out a different idea just because I like throwing out different ideas.
Sure.
I think his reaction to this will be a spiral into madness, and he will take the position of the gods are no better than mortals, and mortals are no better than the gods. Fuck all y'alls. I'm gonna get my boy Predathos onto all of you, and we'll start from scratch.
I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it goes with the whole why Arathis wasn't there, because she, one, didn't want to break the rules for her wife, the Wild Mother, and two, it's like, why are your children bound to the rules you will not follow? We have broken this place. We killed them for being good. Please tell me everything about your son. I mean, that's just what happened in the last scene before they actually went off. But it's the whole thing. It's like, hey, they're even worse than humans because they don't even follow their own rules. The humans are still trying, or not humans, you know what I mean? Like, Exandrians or whatever, still follow rules somehow, because there's still a moral compass of sorts. But the gods, technically, besides the Everlight, maybe, the Everlight tried not to deceive. So she tried to stay on the good levels. The others are like, you know?
I mean, okay, Aiden also.
Yeah.
If we have to make a distinction here, Aiden being the Dawn child, not necessarily fully the Dawn father.
Yeah.
Aiden was also one that was like trying to do good a little bit and trying to, and we saw it at the end when like he realized that his, it was vain, that there was no forgiveness to be had and stuff, and so he started crying and turned into the Dawn father that we know now. This brute force, like, fuck! I love that scene so much.
Same.
And it made me sob. I was crying. It was goddamn good. But like Aiden as the Dawn child being like, look, Dad, I can forgive them. And the Dawn father being like, sure. Yeah, child, you can do that. Haha. It's like the parent is like, I know better than my child, but I'll let him be naive and fall on his own face and have his own realization and realize that the world is terrible and that there's no hope and no forgiveness to be had. And fuck, it was heartbreaking, and I loved it so much.
I mean, the whole build-up, it's literally the whole, like, what was it? He cast Sunburst, I think, and then they started describing the whole, like, dawn is coming, blah, 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 and it led all to that final moment when he's at the edge with the water and the tear and whatever, and then the sun is rising over the clouds of Exandria and stuff. That visual alone was so beautiful.
It's just that scene from the end of the Two Towers where Gandalf arrives with the Rohirrim on the hill and casts sunlight. That's all it was.
I know. It's cheap production, but I love it. I just love when things fall into place, and it worked out. I mean, there were moments where Aiden was down to 14 hit points before they brought down more wards. So, I mean, that alone was ridiculous. When they all of a sudden it's literally, what did he say? He studied like philosophy and stuff like that, and the whole moral stuff, and you see literally the players like taking on the power, and then oh shit, and then oh more power, and then oh shit. So you see like the dilemma of everyone being like, no, I'm mad, no. It's going back and forth.
Yeah, it's something that I noted, an amazing quote from Brennan in the Four-Sided Dive episode. He said that he wanted to use game design as a tool to create the feeling of intoxication of power, to explain why the gods were this way, like why the gods had this behavior. And God, it was so well executed. Of like,
it was.
You could see like some of the players had like conflict at the start of like, and the Everlight had conflict until the end of like, I don't want to do this. This feels wrong. But some of the players were like, oh, this feels wrong. But also it's really cool. And I really want to fuck shit up with like a 9th level spell that I can cast every round. It's like, but creating that little like power creep for the player of like, oh, I don't want to do this, but like also I kind of really want to do it. And the more I do it, the more it's fun, and the more like it's brilliant.
But there's also the moment where you're like, I don't need a 9th level spell, because that little guiding bolt on level whatever 10 times is already fucking you up. So it's like, I don't have to come with the big weapons. It's just like, you're dead.
For me, it's like, so boop, you're dead. Boop, you're dead. Achoo, and the whole city's gone, It was really fun. And it's such an interesting way, like as a game designer myself, not to brag, it's like, that way of thinking made me so happy, and it's so clever, and it's so good of like using the game mechanics to feel like to make the players do certain decisions, and like giving the players so much stuff so they do exactly what you want them to do, and it's like so clever and so brilliant, and I love it so much.
There's a moment in Four-Sided Dive where they actually talk about like the character. Those are the characters, the gods. That's the ones that have the most backstories. I'm so curious. I would love to hear more, but we'll never know. So,
Laura revealing that she knows a lot more about the Raven Queen. She doesn't know everything, but she knows how she knows about the Raven Queen's moral life, and she knows how she became like a god. I'm gonna scream.
What that means is Laura Bailey knows the rites of ascension, and Laura Bailey will become the new matron of ravens in the real world.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh, for sure. Laura already has god status, so
I mean, she's already mother to most people. So.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. That's something that even Danny doesn't know, and like Danny reacted to that. She's like, "You're so lucky," and I'm like, "Yeah, Danny, I get you. As a lore keeper, as a lore, I want to know. I know why it's being kept, and I hope something like the Raven. Like I know I was saying earlier how much I enjoy not knowing and like there's fun in the unknown. That does not apply to the Raven Queen. I want to know. Give me, give me the story of how she been. Who was she? You keep putting mystery about who she was before. Tell me eventually. I want to know eventually. So bad.
Yeah. Also, we got to know that the Raven Queen is her own patron. That the pact was pretty much put on the table. And then per one was like protector and second dad. So
yes.
And pretty much when he handed her over, or when she left to the ship, it's also another mortal life, which goes like, she's not coming back. It's like saying goodbye to your dad. So it's also hard.
Character creation wise, like build wise, that like I've been trying to figure out Amira's subclass for a while. And that gives another like little bit leaning towards the Raven Queen patron from I think it's Arcana, but to me that doesn't confirm it. I know a lot of I saw some discussion on Twitter being like, oh my god, that means that she was in fact a Raven Queen patron. I'm like no, actually it doesn't. Who the patron is doesn't like build wise doesn't mean anything, because she could still be undying, she could still be undead. I still need to finish looking into that build. Because I'm basically doing 6 build right now, trying to figure out who everything is. And I didn't have time to finish it. Yeah. But to me that doesn't confirm that that's her subclass, like that's her patron, like D&D build wise, but lore wise and narrative wise, it's cool. I think it's very cool.
Towards the other build, because I'm still confused, because they were technically talking about like for the devil, the trickery domain makes so much sense because you kind of need to be on a human level to do like to fuck over humans to understand emotions, and I think that's a territory patch probably looked more into. Did you get more information about Asmodee while watching it, or will you make up more of your own lore?
Not only did I get more information about Asmodeus that I can use from Downfall, but it led me to spiral down some canonical D&D Asmodeus lore that is not in Downfall, but will be in our campaign, because oh my god, like even down to some art that I have seen, and I look at it and I'm like, wait, but that's so and so, like oh my god. So I'm gonna say yeah for that.
You just say yeah. We as players are not interested at all. Tell us not more, please.
Yeah, I don't want to know actually.
No, just no.
You'll
whatever.
find out. You're currently in the stage of fucking around. What comes next is finding out.
Yeah. I already know we fucked up with some of the stuff that Asmodee was very keen on, and he's already mad at us. So this is gonna go great.
What can I say? My character is a child. My child does what children do. fucking over adults. The downfall of the devil is a child. Probably not, but hey, we can certainly try, right?
I
You
mean,
can
look,
certainly try.
they say that there's nothing more honest than a child. So what better to defeat the Lord of Lies than a child?
But with a daddy that's Artagan, I don't know if she is super honest.
Fair.
With a lot of charisma and deception, I guess. I don't know. I mean, technically she tries not to lie because I don't think she fully understands that concept. Like making a show, being a bard. Anyway, different campaign. Let's go back to here. So we already talked about that the deity of primes. No, is that how the society of primes? I wrote that down incorrectly. Was not so secret. The rulership of Aeor actually knew about it and the Godhammer, and that they actually wanted to kind of split it towards. Anyway, they would have killed them all. We talked about this. Yeah, I think we don't really have to talk more about the rulership, but could they have prevented it? I mean, it was always going towards like destruction of the gods, right?
I
think they were too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. I think it was a doomed train from the start, and there was no preventing.
Oh, you know what was also a strong visual when they went outside and basically everything was shifted because of the wind and the people they executed?
Yeah.
That visual was
the
heavy.
horizontal gallows.
Oh yeah.
That shit is cool.
Oof. Holy shit.
And that was perfectly summarized by Ashley Johnson's reaction to that.
Oh my God,
Ashley's so sweet and so wonderful and cute and adorable. And Ashley Johnson listened to that and just went, fucking sick.
It was amazing. The reactions alone, like, oh man. Oh, and then little things like Cassidy Beck's not to destroy her, Nick, we won't. Brandon like, Nick. Nashir, little eyes are okay. It's just like the whole thing. Always like those little pokes in between. It's yeah. I would say let's look at the battle map if it's possible. I'm asking our god to see if the video is actually working. Number 4. This is a clip from Critical Role themselves, so it belongs to Critical Role. We don't own anything courtesy of Critical Role. Let's see if it works. Or not. We don't see it yet. Anyway. Oh, something's moving.
That is so cool!
It works.
It's upside down.
Oh, it's about to do something. It's about to
So
do
thank you
Oh
very much for this amazing build.
Holy!
I think by
what?
Critic, I do have...
It's Jesse Jordan.
Yeah,
Prime
it is.
deities.
They are a
Welcome
well-known TTRPG actual player.
Perfect.
player.
There we go.
And that's where we're going to take our break.
So when it started spinning, yeah, it was cool.
That's where we're going to take our break. See you after the break,
vocally
gang.
screamed in my living room.
The
I was
Factorum
so,
Valley.
and because that was right before the break when he showed that it was spinning, and I was
Damn
like,
it, it's the
oh
wrong
my
version.
god, this is so cool, and I was like, fuck, I have to go to bed with this shit.
Yeah.
I want to see the battle now. I was so mad to go to bed at that point because oh, so awesome.
I just realized I uploaded the wrong one. I actually cut it down to 18 seconds. Anyway, never mind. There was a whole segment. There was so much stuff on top of it, and it was spinning and turning, and it looked really cool. Yeah.
It was so epic, and it made for such a cool fight as well. Of like the wards spinning and depending on like the timing of the battle, like which like if your turn happened when the right ward was in front of you, like that's fucking cool. That's epic. Yes, God. And it made for some really epic moments of like. The battle map was sick, and it enhanced the battle experience so much, and the whole battle concept was so cool that it was so much fun. God damn it.
So at the beginning, we actually had a split party because Triss wasn't with them, so it was just the Brimes, Zaharsht, yeah,
German dentist.
Tishar and Zahnarzt, Tishar and Father Milo, who was useless because actually not there. I think he literally said one sentence and that's about it. And then at the scribe section, we had Cassidy, Triss, Umletta, and the duplicate of the Raven Queen, which disappeared because she dropped concentration at some point. And so then we had so much stuff. If you guys want to talk about like there was a lot of casting protection and armor, and I don't know what happened at the beginning. I wrote it down, but I'll leave it to you guys.
I've been telling you guys about how I tracked all the spells that like they casted. They gave me quite the fucking challenge with that 10 minutes of we're gonna cast just all the spells that exist in the universe in a fucking 10-minute span so we can prepare for this combat. I had to rewind so many times to make sure I didn't miss any spells. There were so many of them. Okay, hold on. I had a list here.
Was there something you guys were surprised about, like what happened in the fight while you look up the stuff?
I mean, I loved how everything started, which was Zalaha attempting to deceive his way in under the illusion, well, they don't know I'm a god, so I'll just go in, and then being hit with the canonical lore of Planetars. They know when they hear a lie. It's just they just know.
I just feel like it wasn't really a lie because Immortal kind of is correct. You know what I mean? I mean, what should he have answered? I mean, it would have been a lie regardless.
But on that point, that could potentially explain why Father Milo, number one, didn't say shit and didn't do shit for all of that. Because the Lord of Lies, the Planetar would know straight away. It's you, the liar.
Yeah, I mean, they knew as soon as he knows he is, the rest is also. I mean, they also started glowing. Probably not Father Milo, right? I mean...
But like, it might have revealed that, all was not as it was.
That Arcadia was lying and that, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was just like hanging in there.
The Dawn Father, praise me.
How did Selena... Wait, didn't he hand over Arcadia to Selena?
No. I want to say.
How did she end up with Selena?
Wasn't that a Castriel?
How did it end up with him?
This is why I needed my rewatch, which I didn't get because I haven't had time, unfortunately.
Same. I'm not sure. Okay. So I have the list because I didn't get to the whole combat. I don't have all the spells they casted during combat because I needed a rewatch and I haven't had time to. But in that 5 minutes while they were preparing for the combat before the break, 11 spells were cast. And I believe 2 feats, or like 2 things that were not technically spells, but were used anyway. 11 in 5 minutes, casted by 4 different people. I was overwhelmed. There was a point where I didn't even have time to finish writing what the name of the spell was, and they were already naming 3 others, and I was like, pause, hold on. Let me give me time to type. Can we chill here? But in those spells that were casted, one of them stood out to me that was very interesting, and we had a discussion about it because we were all very intrigued about it. That was Amira, who casted the spells Armor of Ada, not Agathis, Armor of Ada, and I was like, what the fuck is this spell? I've never heard of it. What? And I started looking it up, and I couldn't find anything There was nothing. And the only result when you type Armor of Ada in Google, Armor of Ada D&D, whatever, it just brings up the wiki page for Ada Aegfort from Dimension 20. And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. I was like, so for the longest time, I was like, oh, it's probably like a homebrew spell from Brennan that Laura got. They revealed at the end, towards the end of the combat, exactly what that spell was, because I think Laura just described the effects of the spell. Yeah. Turns out it was just Armor of Agathis. It was just reflavored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because Armor of Agathis is basically like if you get hit, the person takes cold damage, but since Amira was like Raven Queen and death and stuff, they were like, but what if instead of cold, it's necrotic damage? That would be cooler, right? And they were like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And so they just invented a spell that's called Armor of Ada that makes necrotic damage instead of cold damage. It's basically,
it does make sense.
Fundamentally Armor of Agathis, but with necrotic.
Just differently flavored.
Yeah.
See, now that
cool.
you've said, you've put Ada Aegfort in my brain, my brain is now just going, all they needed to do to fix this was to call Arthur Aegfort in, and he would have sorted all this nonsense out with the greatest magic of all, chronomancy.
God.
Nice.
But I don't know much about that series of Dimension 20.
Same.
Is Ada any like related in any way? Because I know she's a wizard. I saw that on the wiki. Is she like any necrotic based, like thematically?
It's been a while.
I don't know.
Let's have a look. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Divination wizard.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was like, is it meant to be a reference to Ada Aegfort? The name? Maybe not. Maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, she's a half phoenix, if that's anything.
Oh.
So
That's cool.
I think it was just a fun thing.
Yeah, it's probably just a fun wink of like, oh, she's a wizard. She's a phoenix. We'll call it Armor of Ada. It's definitely just that, but like I was trying to figure out, is it after another character called Ada that they named the spell like this? I just
maybe they used it first. It's like
no, I couldn't find any.
when they.
I went through the spell list that she's known to cast Ada Aegfort, and there was nothing there. No, because that was my first theory. Is like, oh, it was probably a spell he made for Ada, but reused for Laura.
Talking about names, Taliesin actually said like Asha actually is for the Ashari.
Yeah.
Oh, so I just did a quick Google. Someone queried this exact thing about Armor of Ada on the Critical Role Reddit forum 5 days ago.
Thank you, Reddit.
And
Thanks,
someone responded, and this makes complete sense. They'll have had access to Brennan's homebrew on D&D Beyond during character creation.
Okay.
So that's probably one of Ada's spells from his homebrew.
Yeah, she probably just never used it in the episode, but she had it and Laura chose it. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Why is there nothing on the wiki?
Thank you, Reddit, for this. You guys are brilliant.
Thanks, Internet.
Amazing. I'm just looking. I haven't really looked through the wiki, but it should be on there too. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, that was the name. I think that was the only spell where we were all like, what? But pretty much everything else is like basic stuff like Armor of Agatha, Mage Armor, Protection of Good and Evil, Crown of Stars, Mislead, Longstrider, Death Ward. It's the whole list, which you normally have access
Warding
to.
Bond, Death Ward, Sanctuary, just name it. They all casted it. It was great.
I mean, what was amazing is pretty much the Dawnfather took all hits at the beginning, and it just kept on going. I'm like, dude, at some point you're running out of HP. It was a lot.
Yeah, Aiden was stressing me out. Like he kept taking because at first I didn't understand why Aiden and at first it didn't really make sense. Like, why is Aiden taking all the damage from the emissary? The emissary has much more HP than him. Why are you putting yourself at 14 HP when the other one's at like 80? Just
protect the baby.
Protect the baby. Because Aiden was definitely a he was more of a support build. He was the ultimate support build, actually, of all the ways you can help other people. And so even if at first it didn't make sense for him to take a half damage, over time, even if they didn't get like the time 10 HP for everybody, it just makes sense for him to be like, oh, because this guy's gonna be in the combat, I'm gonna continuously take half his damage so we don't get fucked over in 3 rounds when he's like, oh shit, now you're at 12 HP, now I'm gonna take half and you're still gonna die. Like, it just makes sense to just over time take half the damage. But at first I was like, why is he doing this?
But the thing is, he can heal himself too with some features, not just like mass cure wounds or something. He has a feature where he could heal himself. So plus cleric, plus whatever. There were options for him to actually get hit points back while the other ones actually just went down. What was also interesting, spell driver, so he could just cast, which was awesome. So
yes, I was excited when he said that. I was like, oh yeah, it makes all the sense. Spell driver, by the way, which is a feat from Critical Role. From Tal'Dorei Reborn, I believe, that allows you to cast multiple spells at once, which is great.
Yeah, the second spell has to be 3rd level or lower, I believe. I really want it for all of my wizard characters, but they need to be like a level 14 wizard. So I'm not going to get it for any of them.
Bruh. Maybe one day.
But speaking of character creation and Critical Role content,
yes.
The emissary.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to report that we now know the barbarian path of the emissary. Because in the fight, they were trying to destroy wards, which are objects. And he mentioned that he had this handsy little thing called Demolishing Might. And at first I was like, oh, that's not a feat that I know. What is that? And I was like, let me look it up. Because I figured it's like, oh, it's probably from a path. I'll have to look into which one. And then I did look up into which one. Turns out he's Path of the Juggernaut. And if you guys don't know what Path of the Juggernaut is, it's a Path of Barbarian that is provided in Tal'Dorei campaign setting Reborn. So he was a Critical Role barbarian, which is cool. I'm excited about that.
It's crazy how little homebrew, basically none, they had. I mean, a couple of things like, hey, if you're in your domain, you actually have more power. But
yeah, a couple of spells here and there, and stuff. But most of it is pretty straightforward. Like, and I mean, the ward stuff was definitely homebrew bullshit. So like, if you want to say technically they were homebrew, like at the end when all the wards were destroyed, there were homebrew shit.
I mean, yes. There is no god level in D&D. I mean, that
god doesn't exist in D&D.
I mean, yes, there are humans on level 20, but what they have as power. And was it like when they started, I mean, the first ward came down really quickly and it was way too fast for Brennan because he was like, and then he handed out the first, wait, I have it here. The first ward was Divine Prowess, which doubled all skill checks and all passive skills, which... When he revealed that, I was like, what? What did you guys think? It's like...
Double? What?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I could quickly speak about that whole idea of how you... Like, just the idea of how you run players playing gods. It's something I've thought about often, how it must be impossible to do. That was the moment Brennan went from being one of my favorite DMs to being my favorite DM. Because, I mean, it's like an elevation of the rule of cool. It's like, you're gods. You should be able to roll like an 80 something on a check. Of course you should.
And yeah, you should be able to do fucking thousands of damage in the snap of a finger. Like, yeah, you're a fucking god. You can do
Also,
whatever
technically-
you want.
Also, technically, you don't have hit points, even though they set it on 2000 or whatever. But technically, you don't have hit points. Sorry, you're god.
Well, I mean, I don't think I agree with that. I think gods just have infinite, like a lot of hit points because gods can die.
They can die, but I don't think just by
Another
hitting
mortal
or
can't
stabbing
kill it.
them.
But
Yeah.
like it's but they can die, so they technically have HP somewhere. It's just probably stupid high.
I like to think that in the planning for Downfall, like the first thing that gave him the idea was Brennan was sat at home on the couch, watching clips of like Vox Machina Critical Role, and he saw that we're basically gods clip from Keyleth, and then he texts Marisha Ray and go, "You guys want to fuck with that? You want to fuck with that? Do you want to be basically gods? Because I can make that happen."
God.
But yeah, like getting them to see like, yeah, so you get all your rolls are doubled, all your bonuses are doubled, all your passives are doubled, your damage is multiplied by a factor of 10, your AC is multiplied by a factor of 10. You know, just
You
like,
heal up. You know, it's like
at
you're
the start
instant
of
healed
each
up in the
round,
next round.
you heal all hit points. Like,
Yeah. That's what I mean, technically. I mean, obviously you have the limit and the gods need to be, otherwise, I wanted to say Spider Queen, but Raven Queen, she wouldn't be there. There is a way to kill the gods, obviously, but if you can regenerate heal within 6 seconds, I mean,
Yeah.
what's the point?
You need another god, basically, or like a Prometheus to kill the gods. But they can be killed. They can be,
Yes.
technically.
By the god of death for sure, because that's what she basically told him, like, do you want to die? Do you have a death wish? I can make it happen. So,
She's like, I did it once, but I'll do it again.
oh, I mean, there was so much on the table next to obviously dragons, which we'll talk about in a second. A lot of 20 level wizards, blah, 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 blah. There was so much stuff going on. There were power word kill. They just rolled high enough, but power word kill, banishment, the wish on Silaha, which didn't go through. Otherwise, he would have turned on them because he would have been. What would have happened if that would have happened?
or if Salaha had gone in that point.
No, if the wish, he re-rolled, I think. Yeah, he re-rolled, and then he had a DC of, then he beat the DC of 21 by 1. So if he would have failed that, Finger of Death, and what Bran basically said, he would have brought him back online, and he would have been on their side then. What would have happened to the god? Just shunted out, or?
Yeah, the god would have been shunted out and unable to intervene. And then we'd have probably gotten a really cool scene with a meteor swarm, but heading for different people.
Oh my god, yes. Holy shit.
Which would have been really cool.
Wow, different story, huh?
That's the darkest timeline.
Yeah. So should we talk about the silver dragon in the room?
Yes, we shall. God damn it. Hold on. Let me just respond to a message here.
The she/her when he said the whole he put emphasis on the name and stuff, and we'll never know. I heard that part, but I never heard the part that he was joking about her being a silver dragon. But Patch knew, right?
So ever since Calamity first came out, he has anytime he's done an interview, he did it in the breakdown that they did afterwards, the round table, Every time Bolo has come up, and like, did Bolo survive? He said it on the Character Sheet podcast. He said it on Oren Cohen's Geek Peak podcast. He said it literally everywhere. He's said the same thing, which is, she's probably fine. She probably just turned into a silver dragon and flew away. Like, he's said it so many times as a joke, and I've always thought he keeps coming back to that very specific idea. Like, that's got to be what it is. And then
it was
confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, when the dragon was killed, and he made a point of having the dragon say final words of like, "You'll never find out my name." I was like, Brennan, is that Bolo? Brennan, is that Bolo? And then he confirmed it, and I was like, yeah. It's just so good.
Also, the other two dragons didn't get a final word, and she even got a gender. So, I mean, it was right there. I wish we would have gotten more, but he was like, it didn't fit in the moment. He wanted to do stuff, but it was just not fitting because there was just, I think the Dawnfather was saying stuff, or some stuff happened, or.
Here's a fun thing we could think about, and we can get chat to think about this as well. Give us your suggestions, chat. So in campaign 2, the Mighty Nine, we met Geladon, the Nightmare in Ivory, fucking sick white dragon. What would Bolo's cool ass dragon name be?
Bolo.
As the silver dragon.
Bolo.
Ooh.
Did she get the foods at the end?
Bolo the foods dragon. I bring the
Bolo the
drinks
foods dragon.
and the death.
And the death.
This
I
Aeor,
don't know.
can you destroy?
I'm the holder of the bag. Destroy.
It's Bolo,
Oh, there.
destroyer of the dragon, and everything. I don't know.
There we go.
Poison
Look at that.
Cage is the artist of this one. I love that so much.
It's so good. It's like a tattoo design. I love it so
It
much.
is a tattoo design. I love
And the
it.
drink in the claw.
Yeah.
She got the drinks.
She got the drinks. I need a destroyed bag somewhere.
It's destroyer is there in her dragon name somewhere
For sure. Destroyer of bags. It's just her tagline.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what else do we have there? I don't know. Yeah, so sadly Bolo didn't have much, but at least we had a cameo. I mean, we could push the bingo at this point if you guys want.
Yeah,
I
let's
don't
talk
think
about the
there was-
bingo.
Yeah, let's talk about the bingo real quick. So for those who just joined for this episode, we actually made a prediction bingo, and Sasha normally does that on their servers. So for the episodes, or like several episodes, I don't know. What do you normally do?
What I normally do, I used to make one every episode, which quickly became fucking crazy. And so now what I do is I usually will make one each month and have a bingo for the entire month, and they make a new one, and sometimes a little bit more than that, because sometimes there's only 1 or 2 episodes in the month, and it's like, well, I kind of want to keep the bingo a little longer and not have to redo the work. But yeah, usually what I do is I make a bingo every month, and we try to predict, put stuff on it that we think could happen, and we put bets on whether or not we're gonna get a bingo this week. And honestly, I will say, when I first started doing bingos, my bingos sheet were much closer, and I would get because sometimes I would run a bingo for several weeks, several months, maybe even, and at the end it was always closer to getting a bingo. But I don't think I've ever been this close to getting a bingo as we were for this 3-episode thing. Usually my monthly bingos, I'm at the point where I'm struggling to even make them because like no matter what I put on there, it's always gonna be wrong. But this one was so close, and it's frustrating how close we were to it. Like if I only just put like the things differently, we would have gone several bingos. But
I know your heart is like, we didn't really get lore from Cognosa, but it was mentioned, and it's kind of saying something that we didn't get much more.
Yeah, well, technically, I was hesitating on whether or not we should cross Cognosa off. I ultimately decided not to, just because of the wording of lore.
I know.
I should have put Cognosa mentioned because that was my intention originally.
Yeah.
But I put lore, and now lore just—it's like
in that
we
moment
could cross
as well.
it off, but
In that moment as well, we were like, I was half convinced we were one sentence away from a bingo because the city, Cognosa vanished, and then Brennan immediately cut to an Aeomaton who screamed, "Traitors!" And I was like, Aeomaton uprising? Is this
So close.
what
Yeah.
does it? But it didn't happen.
yeah.
Again, I'm still on the sleeper for because he was there. Sulaha is a Ayamarton. He's a sleeper agent for the gods. I know it's not what we intended it to be, but we could have had a bingo. Just saying, like an honorary bingo, maybe.
Yeah, well, there's a lot on there that could be considered like honorary mentions and bingos and stuff. But like, it was frustratingly close to a bingo. Yeah.
I mean, we did get the we did get Bolo. And we did get the situationship between PCs because
Yes,
the lawbearer actually showed up. So
because and it was so fucking, oh my god, I loved it so much. And it's another thing that made me cry. Like a lot of things made me cry in this finale. Not as okay. A lot of people were like, including you guys, were like, "Oh, you're gonna cry a lot," and I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna cry a lot." I ended up being way more like hyped and like on adrenaline from the fight that I didn't cry as much. If you compare it to like something like Calamity, where I spent the last episode sobbing the entire time.
Yeah.
So Aeor, like Downfall here, I got emotional a bunch of times and I like teared up a bunch of times, but I didn't properly how to like cry.
Yeah.
Except for like one or two moments that made me like actually cry. But I think like the Wild Mother and the Lawbearer was definitely one of them. It's like, oh God, I love them so much.
I just realized something. I meant to ask you this after you watched the episode, Sasha. You've been building these character sheets for the gods and stuff.
Yes.
Do you have much on the betrayers?
No.
Because what I meant to do with my rewatch, which I didn't get to do in time, was to go back and look at what weapons they were wielding. Because the betrayers that were there each made an Arms of the Betrayer. So if you know, if one of them has a hammer, if one of them has a spear, if one of them has a rapier, Arms of the Betrayers. Because they made them. So we might be able to like posthumously cross one off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Bolo is one of the like we cross off like posts because they confirmed it in Four-Sided Dive, so we cross it off. But it's I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying.
I really want to talk about the beacon more because it had happened, but they didn't really mention it. So
Is there a beacon?
The whole beginning and stuff like that. I just want to know what happened. What happened there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was explicitly a beacon, which is why I can see why the theory is that it's a beacon, but meh. I don't know.
I just want to know more how the beacon came about and what they actually are. Is it what we think, what we have as lore currently, or is it completely different?
Side note, completely unrelated to anything we're talking about. I just opened Twitter to go check on an info.
Yeah.
Critical Role has changed their layout in the past hour. They now have a new icon.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
already made a video
no.
for that.
Oh no! What?
It's
What?
already red
What?
again. Yeah.
It's red with a red moon.
Oh, it has
It's-
no, it's not, actually not just. I thought it's the moon. I opened it just now. Look at it. Sorry, you guys can't see.
I'm having a look.
Oh, there.
Yeah, there you go. It's Rudius with the
Lines,
Latimus
whatever.
Princeps.
Radimus.
basically the net that's over it.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because we're going back to Bell's Hells, so now they're taking off the Downfall layout, but
Yeah.
that's not the layout they had before, so
Nope, it's a different one.
it's new, it's exciting. Sorry, I just needed to mention it because I opened Twitter and I saw it, I was like, oh no, what are they doing?
Hey, slightly
see.
related, but
Yeah.
because there's been a slight break for Bell's Hells, do you think with that we're coming back with an updated intro?
I hope so.
I
we
hope
have
so.
not. God damn it!
Because we've got the new
every time-
characters.
Yeah. Every time we do this, I had the art prepared because at the end of the intro was Bell's Hells looking at Aeor, and we never showed it. We never talked about it. It's there. Anyway, we mention it now. We did see it. We didn't forget. Well, technically, we forgot about to talk about it, but we didn't forget about it. So that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, I actually uploaded a video before our stream because I saw the on Instagram they had changed it already. I'm not sure if they just changed it on Twitter, but it has like 1,200 views, but only one comment. So I guess. We'll see. We'll see what
I think it just happened on Twitter because I opened Twitter during the stream earlier and it wasn't like this. So
no, it sounds a bit stupid, but what's annoying to me is they often like update like Instagram and Twitter. I'm not sure about Facebook because I don't really look on Facebook, but
I don't either.
TikTok, nope. It's like nope. There's so much stuff going on Instagram and Twitter, but the people on TikTok never know it. It's like they also didn't post the Mighty Nine scene. They teased. It was posted on all other social medias, but not on TikTok. And I'm like,
well, the reason for that is that they didn't post it on their Critical Role account. They posted it on the.
I know they posted it on the Prime one.
It's the one that's managed by Prime by Kayla Marie, I think her name is. She's awesome, by the way. I love her. She doesn't have a TikTok for them, so they didn't upload it there.
Yeah. It's just. I know it's probably a licensing and deal thing, but they're losing so much. Like because a lot of people are not on Twitter. Anyway, rant over.
Especially with fucking stupid Musk at doing bullshit to the website. A lot of people are leaving Twitter for TikTok and other platforms.
Yeah. Insert Brennan rant here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, back to Aeor. Okay, we had power word kill, blah blah blah. So much stuff was going on.
Yes, the power word kill. I was so hyped when I heard that, and then it didn't work, and Brendan was like, fuck. I was like, yeah, fuck, that's right. You don't get to do it. And then I think one of the player did it afterwards.
Yeah.
Power word kill or something on someone, or tried to do it, but didn't cast it.
Tried. Yeah. I think it never went through. The other thing was what was kind of beautiful was like Aiden taking the hit for the Raven Queen once and gets stabbed from a Castriel. And then later on it switched. And that's also the moment when he said sister to her, your family now, or basically thinking about it was beautiful.
There was a quick little thing in that moment as well when he used the teleport ability to take that hit. He said, I would have words with you, which was a throwback to earlier in episode 2 when he said, if he were here, he would have words with you.
Yep.
It's like that was the moment where he went into Don Father mode.
Yeah. I will have words, and the Raven Queen pretty much said, Daddy is mad. It was so cute. Yep. And that was the moment she lost concentration, where shit went down at the Scribe battery bank stuff, because the Raven Queen disappeared and the Raven was just there and Trist alone. So I guess it also urged her to actually go to the fight, because over there it was just like, hey, want to play checkers or whatever. So things were kind of like under control, so she didn't suspect anything, I guess. And that's why when she went, Cassida was alone with the other guys. 1 second. So also pretty beautiful, because when she took the hit for Aiden, she had to make a save. I think it was a con save. And if she had failed, she would have been instantly dead. So, and she rolled in at 20, which is like, hey, death can't die. If you think about it. So it's kind of beautiful.
There were some pretty great rolls in this fight and in this thing. There was also there was just so many good rolls, and I think Aiden also rolled not 20 at some point on a con save, which was pretty epic. And was it the emissary who rolled like a nat 20 on like an initiative roll at some point or something?
Oh, he rolled very high, yeah. He was on top of the list. He had like a +10.
Yeah, he rolled a 17. I wrote it down because I write down everything. He rolled a 17 on initiative and had a +10 to his initiative, which is crazy.
Yeah. And then he took out a ward.
And then it was like, I destroy your ward, round 1, first attack, let's go. Fuck you, Brennan.
That was pretty amazing. We had the meteor, and then we also had the sunburst, which
can I say that meteor swarm was, first of all, so smart. But it was it ended up being like the most epic moment of the fight, and it was just so like, oh my god, fucking crazy. It's just I think it's one of the moments that I was like almost I was at work watching this in my office, and I was like, I had to physically hold myself to not like stand up and scream like it's a sports game. You know how you get excited when your favorite team scores a goal? Like I was like, yes, like this, but I was like in my office, like clutching my desk, trying to stay calm and not scream and not like react outwardly, because it was just so good. It was so fun.
I love those moments when you're like, oh my god, that's like literally chef's kiss. So
yeah.
Interesting is because later on, I think Brian was just like, oh, let's just bring in more mages, because now the fight would be really easy. I mean, they already reached higher levels, right? But the next moment, Aiden actually cast Sunburst. And that was the whole dark, because there was magical darkness up at that point too, and there was a whole back and forth. But he also said, I don't know if you wrote that down before, your magic blotted out the sun, so you couldn't see the stars and forgot there were things above you. And it takes out the most brilliant wizards ever existed in Exandria, and they're just gone within like a blink of an eye. So it's like, and that was the moment dawn was rising. So that's
And like, what I think, because there was so much buildup to that sunburst, like Nick Marini knew he was gonna cast that spell at the beginning of combat, because as soon as they got the divine resistance ward down, and that like they found out that they all get like resistance, like 2 elemental immunities and 4 elemental resistances, Aiden was like, everybody here, take fucking radiant immunity, because I'm about to fuck shit up, and I need you all to, and it was like 2 rounds later, I think he ended up casting that sunburst, because like, as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, what are you preparing? What are you gonna do, Aiden? What are you gonna do? Give it to us. And I was like, oh yeah, do it, do the thing. And when he did it, I was like, fuck yeah, dude, he did the thing. It was so great. It was so great.
I mean, it's I often build my characters like this, that I pick spells that fit to the profile. So I mean, that one was just on top of the list. I mean, Just
It
for
was
visual
just-
reasons.
Perfect. It's like a spell made for him specifically.
We also had Selena up there. What was your take on her?
I don't. She wasn't there long enough to form one.
Yeah, that's kind of my
Interesting.
thing. It was. I would have loved if they introduced her earlier, so I could form an opinion on her.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh yeah, Selena, she's the one who made the emissary, not the emissary, but Salaha, by the way. She's
Salaha.
also like
Yeah.
one of the 3 people that know how the fucking weapon
Build
works.
this weapon? Yep.
But she's here, and I was like, oh, that's who is she? And I was trying to like write down her name and stuff, and it was like, oh, but she's dead already. What's the point of writing down her name? She's already gone. It's like I would have loved if she was introduced a little earlier, so we could have some stake and some empathy for her, because I just had none.
Yeah.
Is the thing. But I think her relationship with Salaha was interesting. Like Salaha being like almost like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like he was like, no, you're wrong, but then ultimately was like, oh, I'm sorry, and hugged her, and like did he hug her and she died or something? Like,
yeah, he
when
was holding her, and he basically also told her, I'm so proud of you for basically what you achieved. I gave you kind of the gifts, you know, and you look what you have made. I mean, it turned into a weapon and you want to destroy us, but I'm so
still
proud.
did something cool with it. Yeah.
I mean, from a certain perspective, for her, she created the very thing she was seeking to destroy from her perspective.
Yeah.
And that probably destroyed her in that moment. And I think that's probably why he went the more empathetic route.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he also said,
that brings up something very interesting about Salaha and the Archheart in general, which is also something that Laura talked about as the Raven Queen. Is that because Salaha is the god, the Archheart, sorry, is the god of beauty and the god of magic and stuff like that. And so when the Raven Queen ascended, he was nice to her because he was like, oh, look what you've done. You're so cool. You're so cute. You did the thing. Like, oh, I gave you magic and you did that with it. It's so cool. I'm so proud of you. Like, kind of like infantilizing a little bit. And the Raven Queen didn't like him because of that. She was like, bro, I did it myself. You did not make me. But him being so like full of vanity was like, oh my god, you did it because of me. You're so cool. It's like, and he had kind of like that same behavior towards Selena, which was really, really interesting. Well, at the end, he did. He was like, I'm proud of you for what you've done. Like, you created a weapon to kill me, but like, you did it because of what I gave you, you know?
Yeah, but I don't feel it on that level like you had that just now with the Raven Queen. I think he actually was like, hey, I made that and it made that could have killed me. I think that was I'm so proud wasn't really like whatever, you child. I think he kind of meant it, but he stayed there with her.
No, he
you
meant
know
it.
what I mean?
He meant it for sure.
Yeah.
I say the infantilizing part was from the Raven Queen's perspective. It was like almost like she was being treated as a child in her perspective, and she didn't like it. But for the Archheart, it's genuine, you know.
What I wrote down, because we were talking about why is the Archheart responsible for humankind, and what I wrote down from the Four-Sided Dive was literally Archheart made the look and feel. Like he basically made humankind what they are. Like he created the whole thing, and he was also saying that, can I be created by the people we created. So that's why he played the Armaton at the end. So
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. Okay, that was four-sided dive. I think we have pretty much most of it from there. And for the let's see. Oh, we had the moments with the Everlight actually sending messages to her kids when she knew she wouldn't see them again. That's like with the sending stones. That was just like, did we have to have that moment again?
It was Sarah 2.0 of the parent going to die and talking to his kids one last time. But I think it was really nice. That moment that came from there, that was the interaction between the Raven Queen and the Everlight at the end, where the Everlight was like crying and begging the Raven Queen, like, if they come before their time, can you send them back and make sure they live a long life? And she was like, well, I love you, but I can't do that. But I can promise you that, like, from what I know, like, their life is gonna be long and impactful and very, like, it was so cute. Of like this little, almost sister bonding, because they're finally accepting her as part of the family. Of like, it was cute, and I enjoyed that moment a lot.
So, jumping back to the scene after the fight, when they actually end up in the in the Scribe Battery Banks, however that room is called. Asmodeus is Trist's husband, right? In that moment?
Yeah, not exactly. So it's the thing with the Lord of the Hells, where the Lord of the Hells takes the visage of the person you find the most beautiful. Yeah. And so for Trist, it was her husband. Yeah. But at first, when they revealed that, I was like, when Brennan described Trist's husband standing over Cassidy's body and like kind of laughing with the laugh of the Lord, I was like, was he his husband the whole time?
That's what I was wondering.
Did Trist have kids with the fucking Lord of the House?
Bro, because I was like, that's the biggest fuck you, because she tried to heal him and then he just made kids with her the whole time.
Bro, I was like, do we have
mindfuck?
Basically not just demigod kids, but like demigod supreme kids.
Devil
of
angel.
Like, they have two divine parents, but kind of also two divine mortal parents at the same time. Like, could you imagine the chaos?
I mean, it's awesome.
Just very briefly off topic, but slightly on that topic. Do you want something fun to hyper focus over for the next few Wednesdays?
Oh, that's
oh my
dangerous.
god.
Yes.
Go look up the D&D lore for the daughter of Asmodeus.
Oh my god.
And look at the art.
Okay.
That's just a little thing to think about as the days march ever onward.
I will definitely look into that.
I looked into her before. I totally forgot about that. Because I was looking for a name, but I went for Fiona. God damn it.
It's Glacia?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that I have the right lore that I can do. Okay, fun. But yeah, it was just like so. But then he said the sentence that I've heard so many times on Question Keys now on Wild Mile Chronicle of like, oh, but I take the face of. I was like, oh, of course, it's Asmodeus. Who are we kidding? Of course, he's gonna look like her husband, because fuck us, that's why.
But we still don't know where he was, and if he wants to keep an eye on her and his brothers and sisters he hates so much, why not be the husband of the person you need to keep an eye on?
I mean, maybe, but
I doubt it, because he would get bored. Sorry, Asmodeus would not stick around for 20 years in a life. Sorry, or 40 or whatever.
He wouldn't just be a kind man for 30 years just for the joke of, haha, you had kids with me.
He would. What is time for them? I mean, hello?
I think because the way that he treated Trist when, in the form of Father Milo, like, I don't think he'd care. I don't think he'd be bothered because, how many times is he like, I'm surprised you've even got followers.
Oh, what is happening?
Oh,
are we gone completely?
Oh no, we're still fine on stream. We just can't see anything.
Okay, that is weird. Oh, should we take a break, by the way?
I mean,
at this point, we're near the end of stream.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I gotta go soon. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap up then. So my question is, who was he in the room? Was he just invisible? Was he just hanging around? Did he enter?
I mean, he was Arcadia at first, and then he just probably bounced around with other identities in the room. I don't know.
Although, fun thing is that because this was one of the first things I thought about when the wards started dropping down, when everyone's passive doubled. So if you have, I believe this is correct. Might need to double check this, but I believe if you have a passive perception of over 30, which someone like Oren does, you can see invisible. You can see through invisibility.
Well, Triss should have seen him.
Well, this is the thing. At that point, had the divinity come back to Trist?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. He literally said that. Also, Trist, you feel how that affects you. He did say that. So
that's when the reveal was. So yeah, he's just invisible, hanging around, doing his thing.
Probably. Being at several places at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to know how he ended up on Aeor, because yes, he can use Mask of Many Faces or whatever disguise what you want to do, but how did he end up on Aeor? What person was he? How did he get there?
Maybe originally he just possessed Father Milo, and then
I think that's likely.
And then switched over to steal Arcadia, and then just continued using Father Milo as a puppet. That's the theory I have about that. But
okay, and then there was one more thing where the Everlight basically cast Guiding Bolt on Asmodeus, which would have done nothing. But Brennan basically described the scene again, so it's like the scribe gets destroyed, which makes so much more sense. And I don't know, what did she roll? Like a 51 to destroy the scroll or something? I can't remember.
I think it was 50 something damage, which was then multiplied by 10, so it was like 500 radiant damage.
It's insane.
It was like, dude, it's gone. It's fucking it's Thanos snapped in an instant. It doesn't exist anymore.
It's a divine Kamehameha is what it is.
Quickly beforehand, because they had the they had the choice between taking the class with one of their family members or actually stopping her. I think it was the wish spell in that moment. Do you think they would ever have considered not going for the family part?
I think so. I honestly was expecting them to let that person go, and I was expecting it to be like an unknown god that we don't know of in today's world of Exandria, because it got destroyed during the calamity, and like any god that gets destroyed, the name is forgotten and doesn't exist. But
literally unknown, and having the knowing mistress being poof gone.
It's crazy. But I fully was expecting, and especially when they asked, who do we feel like it's evil, and like what leaning are they leaning evil? Are they leaning good? And Brendan was like, do I answer that question? I was like, if he doesn't answer, I don't think they're gonna go for it because they don't know who it is, right?
I think the Wild Mother asked, who is on the edge already. So I think it's the only person who is allowed to ask that, because if it's like someone who is good, like the Dawnfather, who is it? That would not have. He couldn't have made the choice on is it a good or bad god. You know, you don't. Yeah. He would never have destroyed like Asmodeus, even though he's a dick. So bad, like. Someone you actually don't want to rule the world.
I mean,
kind of.
That was an interesting question though. What would have happened if they didn't go for the family member? If they didn't save?
I don't know.
Because that was Ioun. Like, Ioun still exists in today's world of Exandria. How?
Yeah, exactly.
I when I realized who was in the flask, I was like, oh, it was almost life changing for the entire Exandrian lore. What the fuck?
I think our stream's gone.
I don't know.
Are you still there?
I have Twitch delay, so I don't know.
Me too.
I think we're fine.
I do think we are fine. Okay, let's keep going.
But yeah, like it's just genuinely like it almost got really bad. Okay, chat confirms we didn't leave. Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, chat.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't know. Oh,
it could have been bad, is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Talk about like branching, like universe stuff like that was. But also, I think the reason it was Ioun in that flask was because Brennan knew the player would go for the family members, because they pretty much established that even if they're even if they're betrayers, the prime deities still see them as their siblings. And like we had like all those moments where the Wild Mother hugged was Tashar as a horse or whatever, and then there was like also Umleta. That's also a quote that I wrote down that like I thought was really cute. Was Umleta and was talking with Trist and Arcadia.
Yep.
And Umleta saying, "One day I'm gonna spin you in my web and never let you go." Yeah. Saying that to Trist, and it was like.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm okay with that.
It's so cute. It's like
it is cute.
They just hugged. They had just hugged, and Umleta saying like it was basically the Spider Queen's way of saying I love you and I'm always gonna love you kind of way. It's like, aw, so cute. So I think because of that was established.
Oh my god,
they still saw the betrayers as siblings. I think Brennan was counting on the fact that they would go for the.
Yeah, but that's also was the moment where she hugged her, and Arcadia in the room was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we destroying this? Blah, blah, blah. I also have this under control. You can go to the fight. So basically when Asmodeus basically ushered her away from there. Anyway. We have one more thing, which was just cute how cute relatively it was, like the emotions that Brennan put into it when he basically said before she died she renounced you, and then the chef's kiss, it's even better than killing a follower when they turn on you. Oh my god, he had so much fun with that. It was like, and then he's like, I have the keys. Let's make it happen.
I won't lie, Patch, when that moment happened, I was like, oh, I know Patch is taking notes and taking inspiration from that. Like, that sounds like a Patch thing to do.
Look, all I'm going to say, if I can leave anyone with just one thing to think about tonight is, I've said this before and I'll say it again. You have never seen me and Brennan Mulligan in the same room at the same time.
You know what confirms that theory? You say says, You say it differently than I would expect it to be pronounced in English, and you say it the same way like Brandon does. And now I don't know if it's the way you say it or you picked it up from Brandon, and I will never be able to tell.
Hey, gang.
Patch takes off.
I'm all
Patch
the bad
takes off-
guys.
Patch takes off the mask and it's like, I've been here the whole time.
I'm Brennan. I'm Patch.
Oh my god.
Okay, so also one scene visually wise, now I understand why it like when Mighty Nine go to the Genesis ward and stuff like that, you know, the big opening in the middle. It's pretty much what he describes, because he says it's like poured out because of the whole stuff that went on. Now I understand how the whole levels and the water and stuff like that, the whole visual Matt described, all of a sudden when Brandon said it's poured out, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It all is coming together. It's like the moments when your brain is like, or I know now how to spell broomstone. I never knew that because I had to look it up. It's like, yeah, then Aeor crashed into Islecross, the whole thing. It's like, I don't want it to end yet. And I understand what's happening, but...
You know, here's a fun thing that I'm gonna pitch to you guys right now.
Yes.
Because at some point I want to like do some like little mini campaigns that might have loose connections to our main campaigns. I'm gonna make you guys a proposal right now for in the future that we take like 6 weeks off for the Wildmount Chronicles, but we keep playing, but instead we have the TBDs playing new characters in modern Exandria, freshly released from the stasis bubbles in Aeor.
You're gonna.
What do you think? What do you think to that?
I am. Yes.
You know,
please,
we keep
please,
asking all
please.
these questions about the law. Why don't we answer them? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
Yeah.
We
Let's
could.
do it. I'm down.
Totally. Yep.
That's something to think about. I could totally. I would happily run something like that because I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Mama Rebi in the chat who says Mr. Mulligan is married as the wife. I see to confirm that the theory of Patch being Mr. Mulligan. I will add to that theory. What if Talia is Izzy?
What if?
Secretly Izzy the whole time.
I'm coming along.
Patch, you're already pregnant.
Congratulations, Patch, on your child.
Congrats
I'm happy
on your
for
child.
you.
Yep.
Would you say it's the Dawn Child?
Aww.
It's dawning on me. Yes, it's dawning on me. It might be the Dawn Child.
Oh god.
It's also cute how Brennan always talks about Nick in the whole like four-sided dive. I'm like, why don't you just bring all the guys there? A nice wrap up of the whole series.
So I was a little bit disappointed. It was only like the main cast and Brennan. I was like, but Nick, but Abu, but
exactly. No share.
I want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. And
We'll just have to have them as guests on Tales of Exandria.
I mean, we're working
Exactly.
on it, right?
I mean, I already told Sarah and Patch that I was considering reaching out to Nick Marini to do a breakdown of his character sheet on in a video or something. So, you know, we can make a whole talk show out of it.
We could.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. We're in the last section now.
Ooh, last section.
Pretty much we basically had like Silaha and Selena with the whole I'm proud of you or whatever. We talked about that, but we also had Asmodeus and the Dawnfather, like Asmodeus being all like, I wanted us to be together, you chose them, I hate you forever. And it just kept going like this. And to be fair, he has a point. I mean,
look, just
put them away.
Just ask yourself, Success, who did we betray?
Yeah, exactly.
Yup. I mean, that's one thing about downfall in general that I think everyone can agree with, even the players.
Yep.
The fucking betrayers were awesome. And they were sort of right on a lot of things. And so, are they really betrayers? Who did they betray? To quote our
Not their family.
Like, it's a whole discussion that I think we had in an earlier episode of like, it's a whole point of views are so important in storytelling, and it's like, but like from the betrayer's side, they're right. They didn't do anything wrong, and you know.
To be fair, that's every villain, but yeah.
I'm waiting for the Dawnfather to suddenly burst into the room on Sasha's feed right now and be like, "You must repent."
Repent.
Kind of like the Kermit meme of like choking Kermit, like you. Don't say that, child.
But there was also the whole campaign, like Brennan said it, with the whole moral dilemma, with the philosophy behind it. Like, also in the moment when he's like, "Oh, the bad guys." Wait, not the bad guys. It's a different perspective here because they didn't betray the rest of the family. They just betrayed their experiment, I guess. They didn't really want it, I guess, or not want it anymore, or take care of it. It's like, oh, later, enough. I don't know what their like stand on like Exandrians is. I mean, for them, they probably could just go away and it would be fine. They just want to play with their siblings. I don't know. So technically, that the Lord of Hells has no morals, or Lord of Lies has no morals, and would just kill anyone or do whatever. It's a different topic. But towards their family,
I would argue that the Lord of the Hells has the biggest heart and the most compassion of any of the deities. And that's the reason why he is this way, because the biggest hearts break the most. And his family broke his heart. So he spends eternity making sure they're aware of that.
We got the confirmation in Four-Sided Dive that in the first episode where we had like the lights intro where they crashed into Exandria, the light that was protecting everyone and was keeping everybody from you know, dying and keeping the ship together was Asmodeus.
And that is so I have a thing about that, because in the D&D canon, Asmodeus, his true form that no one sees, is horrendously disfigured. He is in constant agony from being covered in burns and cuts. And he got that after being cast out from the heavens and sent through all the planes of existence to the bottom of what became the Nine Hells. I think that whole scene is Matt's interpretation of his lore, because, you know, like we've noticed in the Legend of Vox Machina, they've changed things in the D&D lore so that it's crit roll original. I think this is another example of that. The fall of Asmodeus was not literally falling from heavens. It was he sacrificed himself to save the others, and it physically destroyed him. And the only reason why he's so angry now is because the Everlight, you know, the one who he loved, kept him alive. So he has to now spend eternity feeling that pain and anger.
It's exactly, to quote Brennan specifically from Four-Sided Dive, the first thing that Asmodeus knew in Exandria was pain and suffering and burning. It's so interesting that like that's what made him quote unquote evil, is that like he was trying to protect his family and he got so much pain and suffering out of it that he doesn't see the point of being good anymore and being a protector, which is crazy, and I love that so much.
It also feeds into the whole, because he looks like he looks, that he does the whole disguise thing, that he looks like the prettiest thing you've ever seen. It's the opposite of what he is. So
exactly. I'm always going to be sympathetic to him because I get to play him, And I've got to put myself in his mindset, and it just, I can't not be sympathetic.
Pedro, I'm just telling you, you have a little child that keeps poking him, so I don't know what you want to do with that child, because it's innocent. I'm just saying.
Some ideas. I have
no,
some
don't!
ideas.
There's one quote which they say at the end after he's basically his wrap up on the episode. It's like, first and greatest sacrifice of the gods was to become real. They came from a realm of eternal possibility. So yeah, that's where there's. Oh, didn't we also? No, was it on Foresighted Dive when they talked about like, are they stuck in Exandria now, or did we guys talk about that? Was that? I'm mixing up stuff, but can they leave? Someone said they're stuck. They're stuck with Exandria.
Well, or at the very least, because they crashed into Exandria and now they're in this world. And they decided, we'll make us something out of it. We'll create, So now, I don't know if they are properly stuck, like can't go to another. I assume so, but if they're not stuck and could potentially leave, they are at least now bound by their creation because they don't want to leave it behind.
Yeah, because like when they touch the real, that's when the concept of something, like it's so like ridiculous, but it's like the concept of something existing was born when they entered the real.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. So they are now confined by their existence because before they were just possibility, but now they are something concrete and they exist. They're real. So yeah,
I'll leave you guys with a chat real quick. Just talk for 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
It's like Terry. I agree though with Terry Elvin, who says in the chat, the Wild Mother is stuck because she became nature and now she can't really leave. And it's something that Talzin has talked about. And it's like, yeah, she is stuck for sure. But I don't think all of them. I don't think all of them are necessary. I think they're stuck, but if they're not, they're at least bound by their.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious on the Wild Mother's take on Ruidus, because they had to pull a chunk of Exandria out and yeet it into the skies and make that happen. That's a part of the Wild Mother.
I was gonna say, I wonder if there's like a corrupted Rudian version of the Wild Mother up there. That's like a piece of the Wild Mother that got stuck on Rudius.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
And it's like she's not whole unless she gets that back. And I mean, that could be interesting.
What if? Okay, crazy thought.
This is what we're here for.
Yes, that's you and I. That's why we're here. But crazy thought. What if Ludinus manages to remove the net over Rudius that's trapping Predathos and unleashes. If they manage to divert Predathos elsewhere, but everything that's on Rudius is released from the confines of Rudius, what if like that's how we get crazy races in Exandria, like crazy new races in Exandria, is because the Wild Mother now got this part back that was this Rudian corrupted part, and it gets back into, and now this unification creates new forms of life, and I don't know, it's just a cool thought that I had. Like,
yeah, it's a cool theory. I like it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
No, good.
Welcome back.
I just had something I wanted to ask you. Now I need to go back because I forgot what it was.
Well, we were just discussing the idea of because Ruidus was pulled from Exandria when that whole thing happened. What if a part of the Wild Mother was taken with it? Because the Wild Mother is Exandria; she is nature.
That's true.
So
now
does the Wild Mother have a piece of her missing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has like a weird fucked up piece of the Wild Mother that exists up there. That's a kind of like a powerful, weird druid in a cave somewhere, and
That is hilarious.
It's her version of the Somnovum.
yeah.
Wow. Maybe. There's so many ideas and things that could happen. God damn it. This is something where it's just, you know, when you have the moment where it's like enlightenment and you're like, oh my God, I need to share that.
Yeah, and then you forget.
And then you forget and you're like, damn it. And then we end the stream and like, by the way. Okay, I'll ask a different question. So let's just take the deities we had there. Let's go primes first. Which god would you play if you could play any of them?
You guys know already my answer. The chat doesn't, but I for sure would play Ioun, the Knowing Mistress. Oh my God. It's just, I'm just a nerd and I love knowing and yeah. Ioun, for sure.
Yeah, we're wrapping up, so this is literally just the end.
I wouldn't dare be caught playing one of those filthy prime deities. I'm gonna stick with my homeboy Asmodeus.
Yeah. Also next week, Wednesday, he's torturing us currently. So we are actually, I think, in the Flesh City right now.
Only one way to find out.
With yeah, I forgot about that part where we're incognito.
Oh, you're welcome.
Fuck.
Yep.
The only way to learn is by playing.
Yep.
The only, yeah.
Motherfucking evil bastard over here.
How
about you?
Oh, good question. The thing is, it depends on what you want to play or who you're closest to, because I would probably always try to find a solution. So I would be more on Everlight level, healing, finding solutions, just making the world a better place. But
I see that for you.
Yeah, if we're like, hey, it wouldn't bite me in the ass and karma isn't the thing, I mean, having some fun would be cool. It's the same thing pretty much Laura said, like Raven Queen before, she was kind of mad because of the whole Vox Machina backstory and so on, and understanding it and always trying to have like a light, happier or whatever, you know. I'm Chester situation. So having the Raven Queen is so different, and I think it's kind of like interesting to play the Raven Queen. It would be. But imagine you're constantly like ushering souls over. I mean, at the same time while you're doing other shit, it's like.
If there's another god though, other than Ioun, that I would love to play, just because the character is so fun and the depiction that we've seen of it is just so fun to play with and so like interesting, like acting wise and like just for having fun and fucking around, I think I would say the Spider Queen. Like it's just she's so like she's so interesting
for you.
I would have a lot of fun playing with fucking with the Spider Queen.
Yeah. Shout out to Abria for bringing that together, because that was initially all
for
her.
I mean, even Brennan said like to play Umleta, he had like talks with Abria of like, how do you play the Spider Queen? Let me take notes and let me go off from you. It's gorgeous. Am I biased because I love Abria and she's my favorite? Maybe. It's just a fun character to play, you know? It's like fun.
Every summer is
evil shit, you know.
Before we do wrap up as well, I quickly want to go way back. There was I can't remember who said it, and I can't scroll up high enough in the chat, but someone mentioned in the chat at the beginning about the whole theory from False-Sided Dive that Bolo hooked up with Loquacious Sealy.
Oh my god, yes.
And it dawned on me, because people were like, yeah, they must have had some fucked up kid. Well, we know one fairy dragon in the canon that is fucked up, Glomglut.
Oh, stop.
So just that's just something to sit on.
Loomglut is loquacious child. Shut up.
God.
I love that.
Loquacious and Volo.
Wow.
These bells, hails, can you destroy?
Can you
Call my
destroy,
mother.
yes.
Oh my god. I love that.
Imagine. No.
Well, if it's not canon in Matt's world, it's canon in mine. There, I said it.
Let's go.
Let's go. We have so many canon things now.
Oh yeah.
Which
Oh,
should
yeah.
be. Just looking through everything. Oh man. So Hellas, we said, is a different kid than
Yes.
Ludinus.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. Oh yeah. Then let's do just what do we expect to happen? I know we touched on it, we talked on it probably in every episode, but Beltels, it's coming back in a couple of hours. What's happening? What are we getting us into here?
I think at least some of them will have, well, at least most of them are gonna have like this internal debate of like, fuck, I think Ludus has a point. Like this moral dilemma of like, what do we do? Like, well, I don't think there's gonna be much of a dilemma because ultimately, I think Ludinus's plan is stupid, even though he has a point that the gods are not good, and maybe we should, he has a point on that. But like, releasing Prodathos is probably gonna do much more damage than he anticipates, and it's probably gonna kill Exandria like as a whole, which I don't think is a good idea. So I don't think they're gonna switch sides. But I think they're gonna at least understand and be like, yeah, he sort of has a point. The gods are not great, they're not. And I think Bell's Hells have always been this party of like, we don't really believe in the gods anyway. But like, even FCG, like at first didn't really have a god. He latched on to the Changebringer, but like. Even then, like, now that FCG's gone, it's like, there's not really anyone who has, like, a strong bit. Well, we have Sam's new character, but we don't really know anything about him. We don't really have anyone who has strong feelings about a god.
He's got a good choice in God, though, by the sounds of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. I am excited to see more about that. I'm going to be honest. I missed Sam. And
I don't think Sam can play really evil. He can just be. Do you have a girlfriend?
Oh.
Are you single?
I mean, from what we've seen of his new character, he's not really evil.
No.
He's just sort of dumb.
He's just horny. Double horny.
Yeah. But, I think it's just going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. Oh my. I just had an epiphany, I guess. I don't know. It literally was like, okay, we were asking ourselves how Ludinus got his information. I don't remember too much about like the whole Beacon lore and stuff from campaign 2. But if we're talking about souls and Beacon and Reborn and who the fuck is in there? Are there people in there that have information? I'm just saying, the Raven Queen doesn't transport every soul to the other thing. There are gods who have their own realm behind there, and there's the Beacon who has souls. So are there souls that have information where Ludinus has access to?
Maybe. I mean, there's definitely like high likeliness that there was some beacons in Aeor. Maybe there was some consecrated souls in there, and they were reborn.
I'm just saying, Essek, Ludinus, they all fucked around with the beacons and traded that. That was all the whole war thing. They secretly had beacons and did experiments. I don't know what went on there.
I mean,
might that be?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of the beacons and being reborn. Now I'm gonna be thinking about it way too much. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. But it might be nothing,
Maybe.
We haven't heard anything about beacons, so Okay.
I mean, we'll see.
So, as a conclusion, we watched everything double, partially, or actually double. How do you like Downfall?
It honestly, it was amazing. I freaking loved it. It doesn't beat Calamity in my eye because I had a personal, I have like a little personal attachment now to Calamity years later because of my characters and stuff and like all the research I've done and like I think time investment in my brain. I have spent more time thinking about the Calamity, so it's still my favorite. But I think it's pretty up there with Calamity, you know? It's like, it was epic, it was amazing, it was an amazing tale. The players did amazing shit, blew my mind away many times, did some cool, it was just so great. And I really loved it. And I really love to see some level 20 shit on Critical Role again, because it's been a while since we've seen, we've barely even seen Vox Machina do level 20, because we had one or two one-shots that lasted a couple of hours of, so having an actual 3-episode arc of people with level 20 powers and abusing it and being powerful, it was really fun, and I really loved it.
What about you, Patch?
Yeah, I'm pretty much of the same mind. It's definitely up there. Really enjoyed it. We'll watch it a dozen times over, I'm sure. Not quite the level of Calamity, but Calamity, as you said, it holds a very special place in my very being. I'm mostly curious about what comes next, because clearly this is a trilogy, and I know Brennan has gone on record to say that he would love to tell it as a trilogy, and either go with the Schism or with the Divergence. And I think it would make sense to do the Divergence.
I think so too. I think that was the last thing he said.
Yeah, we got a tease of it with the queries of was it Arathis? I can't remember off the top of my head. It was like we as long as we stay here, things are going to be bad. Yeah, and that's like sowing the seeds for, okay, we need to go and shut the door behind us. So, yeah.
And it would also make sense, they started with Calamity, which was the night that the Calamity, how it started. Now we have Aeor, Downfall, which is in the middle of the Calamity, what's been going on ever since the start. And we wrap this little trio up with the Divergence, where the gods they're ending the Calamity and they decide to leave Exandria behind the lock themselves behind the Divine Gate and be gone, but not really.
By the way, in the comment, it will be interesting to see what happens when Essek actually sees that, or what he thinks about that. I totally forgot. I mean, I'm super aware Essek is there, but the connection between him also seeing this was absolutely disconnected just now. I'm like, oh my god, what does Essek think?
Yeah, honestly, the two people in chat that just brought her up, I was like, fuck, that's right. Essek is seeing this as well. I know Essek is there in theory, but I completely in my head, the connection between Essek seeing this and Essek being there just did not make.
I think the main issue is because was the live show the last? No, the one.
Yes.
No, the live show was the last one. And since Sam came in, there was the whole thing. Essek really had a back seat. Essek was like, oh, I'll do this and that's it. So there was not much Essek mentioned. Okay. Oh, it didn't work. I'm so sorry. Okay. If we stay out here, I can teleport us back. That's pretty much what he said. So Essek was just gone from my mind. But holy shit. That is also something I want to see Essek and Caleb Never.
But
I also want to see Essex and Caleb having adventures in Aeor.
Yes.
That's just in my brain run. Okay, last question for you guys. If you could ask any of the players something about the campaign, what would you ask? And who?
I want to talk with Nick Marini.
I know.
I've said it
We
and
have
I'll
your
say it
answer.
again. Nick Marini is my discovery of this, and he has gone up in my favorite players, like actual playing players ever.
Yep.
So quick, and he's up there, and I want to have a chat with him so bad.
Maybe we can make it happen. We'll see.
I'll try. I'm honestly gonna try and make it happen on my own channels. We'll see if that can work. But like
all the channels,
I have so many like. I don't even know what I would ask him, but I know I want to talk to him, and I want to have a chat with him about it because like he blew me away so much, and he's I don't know how to say it in English. I have a French expression.
in French.
Un coup de cœur, like a favorite, I guess, but like it's not exactly favorite. Anyway, he's I enjoyed him so much. Definitely in my top 5 favorite TTRPG players out there.
Oh, same.
So yeah,
I think you also get Brennan if you want to play Brennan, not just players.
I would ask Ashley Johnson. I'd just ask Ashley for a hug. I think.
Aww,
yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why I love my fiance, but I'm very jealous of her because she has hugged Ashley Johnson. And you know, like I got to see that in person and was like, oh, my heart. Yeah, I think that's what I'd ask.
It's like a second-hand hug because you can hug your fiance.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Can you ask Tade to also give me a hug, please? I want the second-hand hug.
How about we just go to the convention together or something?
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, I think we're. Is there anything you guys just want to do as a final word or a favorite moment or something? So we wrap this up and just say goodbye and pimp out whatever you want to pimp out. Can we still say that?
Well, I'll just say that if you liked watching us ramble for a few hours about Exandria-based stuff, then do go ahead and check out Quest Junkies on Wednesdays, where you can see us plus some other wonderful faces playing a campaign of D&D set within the world of Exandria in the timeline of Critical Role. About 12 months-ish before the events of Bell's Hells, as our group known as the TBDs delve into some very Asmodeus-related story of intrigue and the past and lies and cages and secrets and everything in between. Targan does show up on occasion as well, yes.
Yeah.
Has been known to make a brief appearance.
Maybe.
Brief. Yeah, and I will say, if you enjoyed me rambling about stats for the past couple of episodes, I'm gonna be doing a series on my TikTok channel. Because I have time to break down the character sheets in time for this episode, but I decided I'm gonna make a series out of it on my TikTok. So if you want to see me breaking down the character sheets of all the player characters, head on over to my TikTok at the Rainbow Lobster. I'll be doing that over there. Yay!
Hell yeah!
Fun.
I just want to I just want to say thank you that you two jumped onto the idea to actually do this, which created this channel too. I mean, we exist on TikTok, we exist on Instagram, now we also exist here and on YouTube. We never planned to do this, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I know it takes a lot of time. Our episodes are almost longer than the episodes from Critical Role, besides the last one. So us rambling is kind of longer. And also want to say thank you to Yoda in the background and the God Squad who did
Thank you,
the
God
stream.
Squad.
I'm not sure if they're here today. But yeah, so thank you. And I hope we can do that again for whatever it is. Or yeah, play some games, have some guests. I don't know. We'll see what the future brings. So again, thanks for taking the time. I will see. Yes.
How about this? That idea I had for the Aeorians wake up in modern day Exandria. I'll run that as a one shot on this channel. How about that?
Oh,
That would be
yes.
awesome.
That's cool. I like it. I also am
talk.
looking for someone to play or run a dagger herd. Maybe we can play that here or something.
That'd be sick.
Fun stuff.
Little bit of different. I know it's like we want to build up the other channel, but maybe we can just cross.
Hey, we build each other up. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So, did I say thank you to Grigorol for creating all of this, so we have a place to talk, because we wouldn't know each other if you weren't existing. So this is us saying thank you. Okay. Do we need a fucking outro? Sorry, I'm swearing.
Is it Thursday yet? Why, yes, it is.
Like it.
It is today.